Rain and snow, wind up to 40 kilometers an hour and a high of 0. Wednesday, partly sunny, wind a bit breezy, 20 kilometers an hour and a high of -12. Thursday, early flurries, then cloudy, and we'll be dropping to -14. Friday, sunny and cold with a high of -24.
B&A Petroleum is a Southern Saskatchewan family-owned business that's there for you. They've been supporting their clients for over 30 years with locations in several communities throughout the southern part of the province. B&A Petroleum is available for all your bulk fuel and lubricant needs with propane at selected locations Monday to Friday. And don't forget, their Cardlock location is accessible 24 hours for your convenience. B&A Petroleum. Fuel you once, fuel you forever.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Kellen Solar, installing solar in residential and commercial buildings for 35 years. Local and trusted. Kellen Solar. Visit kellensolar.com. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Well, thanks for taking some time to spend your Monday with us here on the Sports Cage. My name is Teagan Whitco, your Monday host, and I am joined alongside Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. And of course, Curtis is manning the buttons and all of the crazy things that happen. He is our producer. Again, appreciate you taking the time to spend with us. We have a lot on the go here today, and all of our guests will be joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Western Pizza gift cards are a perfect stocking stuffer and gift exchange. Don't forget, they also have catering options available this holiday season as well. I love a good za.
Oh, try the Greek food.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Won't be disappointed.
I've never been disappointed by anything Western Pizza does.
No, there you go. 100%.
So I will take your word for it.
Thank you.
Lots to go through from this past weekend as well, and we're going to get to a whole bunch of that. But first, I just wanted to start off by playing this clip from Logan Thompson. Made 39 saves to earn his 100th NHL win for the Washington Capitals against the Columbus Blue Jackets yesterday. The final was 2-0.
Congrats on the 100th win. What did it mean to you to get a shutout in the 100th win? And have you seen the list of guys who've put up 100 in less than 170 appearances yet?
No, I haven't seen the list. Yeah, it's exciting. Obviously, coming from Canadian University, you never really thought this would happen, and I think I owe a big thanks to the two organizations that gave me a chance with Kelly McCrimmon and the Vegas Golden Knights, and being brought back here. I couldn't be happier to get to 100 games with Washington as well. So, just thanks to those two organizations, definitely believing in me and giving me a shot.
Yeah, so 100 wins, not points.
Yeah, that's right.
Goaltenders can, from time to time, score themselves a point or two here and there.
Hi to the Tri-City Americans goaltender last week, yeah.
That's who it was. Okay, I was trying to find that clip earlier today, and I could not remember for the life of me who it was, but it got Curtis and I talking off air. Most goalie points of all time. Yeah. We found a top 10 list. I want to know if you can pick off any of the names on said list, Dave.
Who? Okay, so you'd have to go with guys that can move the puck.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and remember, this is all time.
Yeah, all time, okay. And again, goaltenders didn't leave the crease much before the 80s and 90s, 90s in particular. So it doesn't have to be in particular order, right? So
no.
I would assume that Ron Hextall would potentially be on that list. No?
I thought so too, but he's not.
No,
oh, he is?
Thank you.
Oh, you told me I was wrong earlier. I got a bone to pick.
Okay, so then you'd have to. Would Marty Turco be? Well, obviously you've got to go with. I'm seeing the New Jersey goaltender Martin Brodeur. He's got to be up there. Patty Waugh, probably.
Don't say all 10 of them.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was the question. I thought you said, we're going to test your knowledge, Dave. So.
Well, it's pretty dang good. I was just looking for a couple of them.
Oh, okay.
But that's impressive, because I was actually going to toss this out and see how many right answers we can get on the Prairie Land Rentals text line.
Understood. I like that. Okay.
So don't cheat. Don't use Dave's responses. I'm not telling you not to Google it. But don't Google it.
Don't Google it.
That takes the fun out of it.
Be the Cliff Clavin that we all want to be.
Be honest with us.
Thank you.
Yeah. 306-936-6262. That, of course, the Prairie Land Rentals text line. By the way, that win last night, that shutout, also extends Washington's point streak to 8 games. So,
the Washington's a surprising team. I give them credit. And this is the last year, isn't it, for Alex Ovechkin?
It's
Even if he
gotta
says
be.
he's not, it is, right?
I mean, is he going to pull a Kiss? Or like a Motley Crue where he does 8 farewell tours?
Yeah. Well, this is the last year of his contract, and I think
True.
that he's ready to walk away. But he keeps scoring goals, and that hurts me because I didn't want him to break Gretzky's record, and now I'm fully aware it happens and blah, blah, blah. But
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what comes. We still have this season to get through.
True.
Hockey Canada also announcing their camp roster for World Juniors. So Macklin, Saskatchewan's own Cole Reishi is on that list. And you also know one of the assistant coaches, too.
Yeah, Brad Lauer he was with the New York Islanders for a while. He's done various stops in the WHL, including Saskatoon. He's from Humboldt originally. So, a good guy there. So
you have Brad, you have Reshny, Gavin McKenna.
Gavin McKenna played for Medicine Hat, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a couple familiar names on there. 27 players representing Canada, 2026 World Junior Championship. I'm looking forward to that.
I was, one of the things that I was curious about, because who's putting this list together? Former Regina Pats GM,
Alan Miller,
right?
Also former Warrior.
Yeah, I should mention,
GM.
yeah. Props to the Warriors, too. I understand that. I'm just saying that Team Canada's always taken college players, right?
Yeah.
Like some of the best players to ever play for Canada at the World Juniors have been from the college route. And just with everything that has opened up and everything that has transpired, right, and there seems to be so much animosity right now between the Canadian Hockey League and NCAA, right? Like, for example, if you're unaware that there are some Canadian Hockey League teams that forbid NCAA scouts from coming into their facilities, talking to players, watching players, so on and so forth, right?
It's been highly controversial as of late.
So I just was curious if there might be any spillover. And the last thing you want to do is have it affect young athletes because they're just following the rules, doing what the rules allow them to do, right? But if you watch the World Juniors, if you've been at a World Juniors, if you've broadcast a World Juniors, then it is very clear and evident the partnership that exists between Hockey Canada and the Canadian Hockey League, because a lot of the CHL teams are privately owned. And again, if you're taking away some of the star players over the Christmas season, you're missing out on A, some big gate revenue potential. B, if there's an injury, that's a huge thing for your team because the trade deadline is literally days after the event is over, right? So there's a lot that goes into the partnership between the two. And I just wondered, okay, if there is some souring, I wonder if we're going to see any statements made that so-and-so isn't going to be invited because they're playing college hockey now. That does not appear to be the case.
I don't think they would ever outwardly say that.
No, no. They're not going to say, yeah, just so you know, we're not taking Tom Smith because Tom, he went ahead and he took a full-ride scholarship at Merrimack or wherever he went. Yeah, they're not going to do that. I agree.
But you can read between the lines.
But, yeah, absolutely. You could understand. Well, gee, that's interesting that they're going to leave him off the list considering he was on the team or whatever, right?
Any notable snubs? If you've had a chance to go through that list?
Looked quickly and I didn't notice anyone. There's always, would you have taken player A for player B? But again, if you're replacing player B with player A, you have to make sure that player A is way better than player B.
Right.
Right, and I know that's very difficult to follow if you haven't had enough caffeine on a Monday afternoon. But I'm just saying.
Has anyone?
I fully, you know what, if there's one thing that I've grown to trust and just look at the teams that Alan Miller has put together over the years, he understands roster composition and roster construction. And I think you have to trust that. And I think that most of us do. I know last year there was a ton of pressure on Peter Anholt in Lethbridge and the team that he put out on the ice. And again, they didn't have a lot of success. It didn't look like they had a lot of chemistry. It didn't look like they had a lot of different things along the way. And you're really putting your neck out there. And that's what caused Hockey Canada to change the way that they do the World Juniors by bringing in a full-time management team. And that is all they do. So we'll see how it pays off.
Yeah, they definitely know better than I do how to put together a roster for the World Juniors.
Have you seen my fantasy football team lately? Everybody knows how to put something better than I do, okay?
But your pick'em pool's doing pretty good, right?
Pick'em pool's all right.
Here's the thing that I don't like about the pick'em pool. I missed 1 week.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm catching up. I could go almost perfect every week, and I'm still hooped.
See, that was me too. I missed a week too.
Yeah. I had a good excuse, though. I was in the States watching football, so. What's your excuse?
I was in Ottawa.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. You get a pass on that
Thanks,
one.
appreciate that.
Anyway, Hockey Canada, yes, announcing their camp roster for the World Juniors. The list of 27 players, you can find it on the stream here, of course, at sportscage.com or on our YouTube channel as well. Jets announced to be hosting the Canadian Outdoor 2026 Heritage Classic. So that's going to be coming up in October of next year, and the Montreal Canadiens will be in Western Canada for that one.
What I think would be really cool if they could do, because it's in October, right? What would be really cool, and no, the logistics don't work. I know, save your cards, your letters, your texts. But it'd be really cool if the Jets and the Habs, they played on a Saturday. And then the next week, to wrap up the CFL regular season, the Blue Bombers hosted the Alouettes in a rematch.
Oh, okay, that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty cool, right?
That would be fun.
I don't think the timing is going to work
The
because
logistics as well?
Yeah. Well, it takes a lot to move in and out, but also the CFL season is going to move up a little bit next year just to accommodate the Grey Cup being in Calgary. Now, it's not moving up as much as in 2027, but we're going to find out that schedule tomorrow. So, but I think that would be a neat feature if it was available.
Yeah, that would be a nice way to have a full-fledged rivalry weekend, if you will. You know what would be even more fun is if you had, I don't know, maybe another Western Canadian team, Riders, Bombers, building around that somehow.
Could do that too.
There's all kinds of possibilities.
Oh, and I think that the rivalry between Saskatchewan and Winnipeg is going to go up a whole new level next year.
Why is that?
The Riders haven't made it a secret that they're pretty excited that they won the Grey Cup in the Blue Bombers Stadium.
Do you blame them?
No. And what is the one thing that every football team throughout the course of time has said? Protect home turf.
Yep.
And I can see that.
And they rubbed it in pretty good. I'm here for it. I love that.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. Why would there be anything wrong with it, right? Like, you've gone ahead and you've accomplished something, celebrate your achievements. And yeah, but I just think that rivalry is going to be elevated next year.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And as Dave mentioned, that full schedule is going to be released. This might be, I haven't actually looked up the stats or anything, this might be the earliest we've had the season schedule released.
In quite a while.
In a long time. Last year it was delayed greatly and everybody was wondering what was going on. There was also that transition, though, between Randy Ambrosi and, of course, Stuart Johnston, the new CFL commissioner. So maybe there was a little bit of a holdup in that area.
That's a potential as well, right? Yeah. The one thing that I think is really interesting, it's, be careful what you wish for. And I've mentioned before on this program, I have some very good friends that work in the hospitality and service industry and the event planning space, right? And so it used to be a running joke, but it's far beyond a joke that the busiest day of the year for them is going to be the day that the CFL schedule comes out, because then people start planning what's happening, right? And at this time of year, this is one of their busiest times of year with holiday Christmas parties and offices and whatever else is going on, right? At these venues, they are full at this time of year. So not only are you dealing with the events that you've already got booked, now tomorrow you know that you're going to have your phone ringing off the hook as around noon tomorrow. Again, it's, I believe, an 11 a.m. release in Eastern Canada. So that would be a 10 a.m. release in Saskatchewan. So in saying all of that, right, like, people are going to start to want to plan, well, here's what we're doing, and here are the potential dates we have. Oh, Riders are here. Okay, we'll just pick this one then.
Especially for those who drive in long distances.
Oh, for sure, right?
That's huge.
Absolutely.
Plus one additional home game, technically. I mean, they're not the home team, but Toronto's going to be here for one of their home games.
And that's going to be interesting how that whole game is approached, because I never really thought about it, right? I thought, okay, you just have another game at Mosaic Stadium. But are the Argos going to want to come in? Are they going to want to deck the place in blue and gold, or blue and white, I guess, or the double blue? Like, what's this going to look like? Are they going to do Toronto Argonaut fan promotions? Are they going to do in-stadium stuff for the Riders? Again, there's a big collaboration happening in behind the scenes, right? So it'll be interesting to see which way they want to go. And I think what's going to be really exciting tomorrow, don't forget, is that we will find out the day that the CFL will return to Saskatoon, because the Riders are hosting that preseason game in the Bridge City next year. So we'll actually get a firm idea of, okay, here's when the game is, and here's how tickets are going to go, which I know that the Riders have been working very diligently on to make sure that they take care of season ticket holders, right? So that no season ticket holder would miss out on a game in their hometown, if you will, for those in Saskatoon. So those of of course, are going to be unveiled later on. But I think it's a pretty exciting time.
It's going to be a very unique CFL schedule release. And I mean, for the Riders, obviously, there's a couple of games that are set in stone. Labor Day Classic and the rematch. So we already kind of have an idea of those, but it's everything else that surrounds it. I'm excited. Let's go. They only won the Grey Cup like a month ago, but I think we're ready.
Well, yeah, right. And of course, are there going to be Thursday night home games? How many Friday nights? How many Saturdays? How many Sundays? Again, the Riders didn't play a Sunday game except for Labor Day this year. And the Grey Cup.
And they had one Thursday game. That was the season opener.
The season opener.
Yeah. So it was a lot of Friday, Saturdays, which I was not upset about.
No, absolutely. And I know that there's some people that would have liked some different start times and stuff like that. No, nothing is going to be perfect.
No.
There is going to be a flaw with something, right, to someone somewhere. But again, you do the best you can and you hope for the best. As far as a competitive standpoint in the Saskatchewan Roughriders, I would suggest they had the best schedule in the CFL in 2025.
They did luck out, but as you mentioned, no one's ever 1,000% satisfied with the schedule that they're given because there needs to be give and take. It is a 9-team league. There's events in these venues. I mean, obviously FIFA, that's making things look a lot different for Toronto. So it's going to be a very interesting one. I'm excited.
I can't wait to talk to Wes Cates and Darian Durant later about the schedule because, again, these guys have been through it all.
Yeah.
But there was some very, very interesting scheduling times back in the day, right? Where a team might play on a Tuesday and then again on a Saturday against two different opponents. So there's some big quirks, and like they've changed some things. Like for example, the Alberta Labor Day Classic and rematch, right? You'd always play on the Monday and then you'd play again on the Friday, and that just did not work for the athletes. But they just went ahead
do you have a
heck
choice?
with it. Heck with it. We're this is the way that we do it. This is the way we've done it. This is what our tradition dictates. So that's how we're going to do it. Not recognizing, hey, you know what? You're going to get a lot better football game if you play on Saturday or Sunday the next week, which is not what they do.
But now that the schedule is coming out earlier than possibly ever before, I would love to see a new plan in place for potential smokeout games.
There is.
It's completely finalized?
It is, from what I have been told. And again, this is unofficial, but from what I am told, that there is a contingency plan in place for every game this year.
Okay. Music to my ears. I love that.
What, you didn't want to be on the radio for 8 hours? Talking everything about, like, I know we got in depth when we started doing play-by-play of the nachos.
And the beer towers inside the Sportscage Lounge at the stadium. And we talked baseball for a while with Jamie Campbell.
Yeah.
I mean, we went a little off the beaten path.
But predominantly it was there. And people found out that the chicken nachos were the favorite. And we went ahead and didn't go with those peppers because who needs peppers on nachos?
Let's agree to disagree.
Again?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, so that's CFL. As Dave mentioned, we're going to dive more into that. Wes Cates is going to be popping by a bit later on. Of course, we're going to have doubles swinging by. Darian Durant is going to come chat with us. But, man, I'm looking forward to his take on some of the games in the NFL this weekend as well. Really quickly here, the downfall of the Chiefs is a beautiful thing.
Wow, it happened quickly. I thought there was no way they would lose last night. I thought there is no way. And again, was it you that anointed the Seattle defense as being great? Because we should be talking Houston's defense as being great.
Yeah, I was saying Houston. I think I said that to Darian either last week or the week before. And I was like, they're kind of the real deal.
Didn't Darian say strength of opponent?
Yeah. I'm not calling him out. You said it, not me.
No. I'm just suggesting that maybe the Kansas City Chiefs have fallen into that lack there of strength of opponent.
Any other big games that stood out to you?
Well, again, of course, I'm transfixed on the Dallas Cowboys and their insistence on losing big games at bad times. That was interesting. I was watching Buffalo and Josh Allen too. Having seen Buffalo over the years consistently fall on their face, like you seem to like they had Jim Kelly for years, and they they just couldn't put it together. And again, Josh Allen. Again, they get to the big time when the lights are on and they just can't get over that hurdle. And so you're kind of silently cheering for them. Now, believe you me, I actually was on your side when it came to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, so you were going Joey B.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I had that feeling because I don't like it when teams in Buffalo get the winter advantage on their side. You know what I mean? In that wintry game, even though it is fun to watch.
And Ohio can get pretty chilly.
Yeah. Oh, that's true, right? But I don't know. End of the day, I had Cincinnati on the scorecard, and that's what I was looking at. So
We don't need to get into all the specifics of that game because there's some painful moments. But Aaron Rodgers. Oh,
Wow.
I was saying this to you earlier this afternoon. Like, I don't think anybody would have anticipated the Steelers, led by Aaron Rodgers, would be at the point that they're at right now.
With Mike Tomlin coaching. No, I'm kidding. I'm not of that. I'm not of that ilk. I'm actually a big Mike Tomlin supporter. I think he does a terrific job as a coach. But I just thought that Aaron Rodgers would come in and just blow up the entire team. I just thought that I don't know what he snacks on in his spare time or whatever, but
I think we have an idea.
well, let's just say
Not talk about that on
let's
public
just say
radio.
they aren't sane. Like, it doesn't have a lot to do with sanity at the end of the day. Sometimes
No.
with Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know what it is, but you got to give him credit. Like,
Yeah.
he's got the team to where they are. He's been taking a beating, and he keeps going. And like I said, I thought he was done when he went to the Jets. I'm like,
It's over.
please let it be done.
Yeah.
But I'm shocked. I'm shocked in a pleasant way for Pittsburgh Steelers fans.
And you know what? Aaron Rodgers also kind of shocked reporters last night with a post-game presser comment. Curtis is going to get that loaded up for us here in just a second. But as we all know that the fans have been hard on him as of late.
What does it mean to get a win like this after the week that you guys have had and the week that kind of Mike Tomlin has had too?
Means maybe you guys will shut the hell up for a week.
Wow.
Yeah. Did not pull any punches.
I think that's funny. You know what?
You kind of have to do that because you're defending your team
Yeah.
in a sense. And if you're going to be a leader, if you're going to be a quarterback, a starting quarterback in the NFL, you kind of have to do that, don't you?
Yeah, you have to have the confidence for sure. Unfortunately, with Aaron Rodgers, it's kind of starting to get old. You know what I mean?
Fair. He's been in the game for a while, though.
No, I know that, but I'm just with Aaron Rodgers. It's getting old. It's not fresh. It's not a new perspective. He is looking to create that combativeness. He's looking to create that tension. And one of my favorite moments, bar none, of this entire Canadian Football League season was when Trevor Harris went off script before the West Final, and he said, "I'm done talking about Nathan Rourke. This is our time." And
We made a whole song out of it.
yeah, right, absolutely. But nobody saw that coming,
Yeah.
and that was genuine. Make a statement for my team. That's reading the room and understanding what's needed at that time. And he's like, you know what? This is our time. And I think that galvanized the locker room, not to say that they weren't.
Oh, yeah.
But when your leader comes out and says that, yeah, we're done talking about this, like, it's our time, then
We're the big dogs.
the buy-in comes in, right? Yeah, we're the big dogs, right?
So we'll dive more into some CFL football, some off-season signings. Obviously, the schedule is released tomorrow. I did also want to mention here that Weyburn was just awarded the Saskatchewan Summer Games in 2028. So this will be huge for the city of Weyburn. I know that that's a place near and dear to your heart. That's got to be exciting.
It's my hometown.
Yeah.
Well, you heard what the clinch on the bid was, right? Not only do you win a gold medal at the Summer Games, you get not one but two vouchers for the all-you-can-eat buffet at KFC.
That right there. I don't know. Debatable if that's better than the medal or not.
Oh no, you get both. Yeah. I'm saying that's a win-win.
Pretty fantastic, actually.
It's a win-win, absolutely.
Well, you know what? The economy is going to be bustling in Weyburn 2028 as they were awarded that. And of course, there's a whole bunch of grants and everything that comes along with it. You can go check out sportscage.com for the story right now.
We will have it very shortly at sportscage.com. And yeah, it is a boom for the community because I know that they've just gone ahead and initiated a campaign to build a new pool.
Right.
So that's a big thing for the community. And again, being a proud Weyburn guy, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And having competed at the Summer Games, I know what it's all about.
Prairie Land Rentals text line. What sport did Dave play? 306-936-6262.
I'm sure people will get that right away.
You think so?
100% they'll know.
Okay. We'll see.
They'll say football, voice of the Riders, big football guy.
There's no football in the Summer Games or Winter Games for that matter.
Is there actually not football in the Summer Games?
No, but I bet you very soon there'll be flag football.
Ooh.
Just that's the trend, right?
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to apologize. I wasn't very present when you wanted to play that Aaron Rodgers clip, but I was doing a little something. I was specifically looking for this clip here that you guys mentioned earlier.
It's the beer tower.
It's the beer tower from the smoke delay game.
Wow.
Or the game that didn't happen.
Yeah. Well, it happened. It just happened the
day
next
later.
Day, yeah.
See, this is our boy Curtis, a bit of a digital hoarder, but this is when it comes in clutch, right?
Absolutely, it is for sure. Don't worry, we're still not taking that mistake off the scoreboard as we've now put one up for the whole week, right? So
shoot,
the mistake bar is flowing, and I've got the lead again.
We'll see about that.
I think Jeff says single blade, a sling blade. Is that
sling blade?
Sling blade, is that a sport at the Summer Games that Jeff's thinking that I participated in?
I'm thinking that I probably should have known if it was or not.
Yeah, and it wasn't. I'm not even sure. I should know what sling blade is. I've never heard of it. So maybe it's a movie. I don't know.
When you Google it, yeah, it's a 1996 thriller/drama. Stars Billy Bob Thornton.
Okay, so that's got to be a movie then. Fair enough.
It might be a sport. The movie comes up first when you search it up on the old internet.
Doesn't sound like a great sport. Maybe that was the sport, seeing if you could sit through the movie. I don't know.
Maybe that's what it was. Regardless, this is the first time that they'll be hosting in 2 decades, a little over that. So definitely their time. It's their time in Weyburn.
Their time.
So again, that's coming up in 2028. I did also just want to quickly mention here Jeff Kent, the lone Baseball Hall of Fame inductee for 2026. He was actually drafted by the Blue Jays in 1992. Didn't win a World Series with them. He bounced around quite a bit in the league, but well-deserved. He is off to Cooperstown.
He was traded for the player, and it's going to come back to me, that helped the Jays win the World Series. He was a key trade piece in that. And I can't remember what it is, but yeah, I remember. And he was kind of a Bobby Bitter after he got traded. And I guess I understand that, right? Like you get traded from a World Series champion.
Yeah.
So that the team can go over the top. I get that. And you see that in other sports too, right? Where players get traded out when they're part of a successful team and we
woulda, coulda, shoulda kind of situation. Yeah. What could have been.
But that also shows you the caliber of those Jays teams in 92 and 93, right? That you're trading a future Hall of Famer to augment that team so that you can get over the edge and into the World Series.
Yeah, which is absolutely insane, and it's driving me nuts. I can't think of that name right now, but we'll come back to it. We'll circle back to it. We should probably take a quick break here, though. We've been just having some fun here. So coming up still, Wes Cates is going to be by in about half an hour or so. He's going to be joining us to talk again CFL. We got your clutch performer still on the way. Not only that, but from FC Regina, Gordon West will be joining us. Obviously, with the World Cup draw that took place on Friday and then Saturday, they're also resuming activities over at Real District after exhibition. So they're kind of getting back to business as usual. So we'll catch up with him.
Awesome. I've got the answer to that Jeff Kent trade.
Who was it?
David Cohn. I knew it was a pitcher. I just couldn't remember which one.
Should have known that. Darian Durant swings by after 5 o'clock. We'll dive into the NFL. We'll talk a little CFL too. Pats chat. Today we have Brad Herauf, coach of your Regina Pats. He's going to be stopping by for a conversation. They just snapped their losing skid too. So excited for them to be able to get back in the win column there. And I'm sure they're going to want to do the same thing for their home crowd during Teddy Bear Toss Night this upcoming weekend. And then we'll also still have that sprinkle of the day for sportselect.com. Join in the conversation at any time. And if you wanted to maybe have your input, have your say when we're talking about the top 10 goalies with the most amount of points, NFL or NHL all time, let us know. Prairie Land Rentals text line. Whatever you need to rent to get the job done, Prairie Land Rentals, they've got it. Also an official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer. Deal with the owner at 600 Albert Street. This is the Sports Cage on Monday, brought to you by Kellen Solar. 35 years of experience moving water from a dugout to a well without electricity. Visit kellensolar.com to find out more for your livestock operation. And coming up next, Dave and I chat with Megan LeBlanc, co-founder of the Saskatchewan Senior Women's Hockey League. So she'll be joining us right on the other side. This is the Sports Cage, the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
Back to our regular spot, Pump Jacks Cathedral.
You know, I thought Pump Jacks was a kind of boot polish till last month.
What are you getting?
Kerwin's crispy ribs and a cold pint of local craft. Crispy, meaty, beautiful.
You had me at needy.
Plus, we got live music on the weekends, big screens. This place is basically my second marriage.
And way cheaper than the first.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, Pub Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
If it's happening in sports in Saskatchewan, we've got it covered on Sportscage. Be part of the show. Call 936-6262 or toll free 1-866-767-0620. On your radio at 620 CKRM and online at sportscage.com.
It's Teagan Whitco, your Monday host of the Sports Cage, alongside Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, and of course Curtis, the producer, helping us out here. Joining us now, however, on the Western Pizza guest hotline, this is Megan LeBlanc. Now, she is a co-founder of the Saskatchewan Senior Women's Hockey League into its inaugural season. Man, that's got to feel pretty good to say out loud, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been quite the ride getting here, but it's been good, and Jenna and I are pretty proud of it.
Yeah. Jenna, obviously another co-founder. Maybe tell us a little bit about how you two got connected and this whole thing sort of came together.
Yeah, well, we grew up kind of always playing hockey against each other. I lived in Estevan and she's from Regina, so we were always kind of rivals. And then as time went on, we both went away and played university, or she stayed in Regina to play. And then we kind of aged out of that era of hockey and then had nowhere to play, and we found ourselves in the rec leagues around here, and yeah, we just kind of got talking, and from there we decided to make something happen.
With the increased popularity of the PWHL, I imagine that's definitely helped drive some interest in this first season, hey?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Ever since the PWHL has taken off, it's, women's hockey has been a talk now, and it's a lot more popular and people are watching it. And yeah, even just like listening, and the little kids are talking about their favorite PWHL players. And yeah, it's something that we never had when we were young. So it's cool to see how women's hockey has evolved.
So walk us through some of the challenges that you two faced when you started launching a brand new league. That's a pretty massive undertaking. So what were some of the challenges that you guys were able to overcome?
Well, in the beginning, we talked about potentially sanctioning, and that didn't really work out, and we didn't really feel I didn't really feel the support was there that I needed to make this league successful. So in the long run, we just decided it'd be better to just do it ourselves and kind of see what happens. And honestly, we thought it would start off smaller, and within the span of 2 months we went from about 20 people to 400 people. So there's 400 people involved in the league now. So
that's incredible to be able to see that amount of people come together and pull this thing off so quickly. How did you guys go about selecting the markets in which you would have a team for this league?
Yeah, so we sent a form around the province and just kind of put a feeler out there to see who would all be, interested in playing. And now there's so many girls that have moved back from playing university or college hockey, and there's nowhere to go. Like once you're done, and it's rough when you move home after giving your whole life to a sport, and then all of a sudden you're just done, and you come home and everyone's boyfriends and husbands, like they're all playing senior hockey still, and then we all just get to go and watch the boys play. So it just, we had our own groups of friends that were all feeling this way and feeling like there was a hole in women's hockey and there was something that needed to be filled, and there was definitely a huge gap that was missed. So with that motivation and our own groups of friends around the provinces and everyone that you kind of met growing up playing in Saskatchewan and even Alberta and Manitoba, and then was sending the form around, we figured there's a lot of people that filled out the form that we didn't even know that were, they were feeling it in the same capacity as us, but they were, 9 hours up north, or people we didn't even know filled it out. So it's definitely, the form reached areas, and we realized we're like, wow, we're not the only ones feeling this. Like there's a lot of girls that don't have the opportunity to play competitively right now.
So 11 teams are on the ice right now. Is that exceeded your expectations?
Yeah, originally we were just going to start and see, anything is better than nothing. Like the alternative is literally nothing. So we were happy just to even have a few teams. And then we had 10 right off the bat. right after we did the forums, we're like, oh wow, we have 10. And then, there was another team that kind of reached out later on. There was a group of girls that kind of missed the ball right off the bat. And then they're like, oh wow, this league's actually like legit. Like, we want to join. So we ended up with 11. And yeah, I would say it's exceeded our expectations for the first year by far. And even just the caliber of hockey, like it's pretty good.
So you've laid, the season has already started. Obviously, there were games this past weekend, more coming up this weekend. What does a season look like for team as far as the number of games you're going to get, how many practices these players are going to get on the ice?
Yeah, so senior hockey, everyone's teams are kind of different depending on your situation. Some teams practice every week. Some teams don't practice at all. It's kind of, to each their own with the teams. I think everyone does, a few practices here and there for sure. Mostly everyone plays 12 games. Some of the teams that are located a little bit farther of a drive. Just with how spread out Saskatchewan is, there's, some teams, if it's a long ways and they're kind of out of the way, then they play less games, and we go off of win percentage for the first year. Our goal for the first year was just to make it happen where everyone has enough people to play and, just kind of get our bearings and see where women's hockey is at in Saskatchewan. And then, we have big plans to kind of clean up a lot of the things for next year.
You mentioned a lot of the players have post-secondary experience for the Sask Senior Women's Hockey League. What is the caliber of play, and what's the competitive level at?
Yeah, so it's, there's a lot of girls in our league that have played, definitely represented the province, and there's some that have even, represented Canada. So, yeah, everyone's a little bit older, but, there's lots of Division I, U Sport, ACAC, there's a little bit of everything. There's some girls that have played, down in the States, some girls that have played. We have every level. Some played nothing. What I think is cool is there's some girls in our league that are, 39, 40 years old, and they didn't have those opportunities when they were younger. So they never had the opportunity to go play university. These teams didn't even have teams then. And same with, some girls, they didn't play AA or AAA because it literally didn't exist when they were kids. And now, but they kept on, just playing rec or whatever. And now the opportunity is here, and they've come full on out of retirement. There's girls that are 40 and that have had 5 kids, and they're playing and they're killing it.
So what's the reception been like at the community level, right? Because this is very new for a lot of different communities, and you go down that list of 11 teams, right? There's some communities that may not have a lot of hockey, barring minor hockey, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, the community support has been great, and that's honestly what makes it all possible. I know just my team is Southeast Saints, and we're based out of Mydale, Saskatchewan, and just it's awesome. Everyone comes out to watch, and it's just such a great. It's so good to be able to base these teams in the smaller towns, the smaller rinks, the smaller communities. I don't know. We've had nothing but success with all of where we've placed all these teams. It's been really good. I don't know if anyone's really gone into, bigger cities, but I think kind of senior hockey, even for the men, is always based out of smaller towns for the most part.
Any rivalries that have been born in this league's very young life?
Honestly, everyone's a rival at this point. It is though. It's, everyone, you don't really know what to expect when you start something from the ground up. We literally started this off of nothing, and nobody knew what to expect. We're oh, are these games going to be blowout games? Is one team going to be? And for the most part, all the games have been very close. It's gone to overtime. It's competitive. It's pretty evenly matched for the most part. We were pleasantly surprised with the level of competitiveness. We have almost made it too competitive.
Well, and you talk about the success in its first year and how many teams you have. You weren't necessarily expecting that. What do you see for growth? Maybe the next 5-10 years. Where can this thing go?
There's a lot of angles that we're considering to move into. Whether that be, there's a few ideas, but we're not 100% sure on which way we're going to go. At the end of the year, we'll have a big meeting, and we'll kind of look at it from a bunch of different angles to see where this league can end up. But it's almost every day where someone comes out and, reaches out to one of us with an idea or an opportunity, and we're just blown away by all the support, and we're really starting to see that the sky actually is the limit with this, and we can take it. It's just, like you can't even think of where it could go because there's so many ideas at this point. So lots more to come next year for sure.
You can feel that pride. Like we're talking through the screen here, but I can certainly sense that you guys are invested. This is something that you really, really take seriously. But I'm curious for yourself personally, Megan, how do you balance being a co-founder of a brand new inaugural league? Like it's an inaugural season, pardon me. But as an organizer, as an active player, how do you find that balance between doing it all?
When you're passionate about it, you just make it work. You just figure it out. But I think it's always been about more than just giving myself the opportunity to play again. It's about leaving the game better than you found it. So, it's then the next generations. With my job, I'm very fortunate where I get to work with a lot of younger generation hockey players. And, I'm doing this so that they also don't have to go through what a lot of us went through. And I think this whole league kind of came from a place of hurt, to be honest, where you give your whole life to a sport and you're like fed this, like, one big happy family. You're in the hockey world and it's great. And it's great. It gives you such good opportunities your whole life. You learn so much playing team sports. But then all of a sudden it's done and you're just, where do you go? And then you come home and the boys all get to keep playing and you don't. So if you've given your whole life to something and then all of a sudden it's just gone, like that, it kind of changes your identity. Like you don't even know who you are for a minute after that. So I think most of the people in this league experienced that and went through that. So I think that's a big, motivation for it is, we want the next generation to not have to ever feel that, I guess.
A friend of mine went and played hockey NCAA after going ahead and playing an exhausting junior eligibility, and then came back to the province 5 years later, was asked to play senior hockey. And I'll never forget, he said, I just don't know how to approach this because, do I back check hard or not? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So he said very quickly I learned that eating a bowl of Doritos on the way to a hockey game probably wasn't going to be the best for senior hockey because it's a great caliber of play. Same thing in your league?
Yes, very much so. It's very, very competitive. I think the caliber was honestly a little bit higher than what everyone kind of expected. So the first game, it took everyone a minute to be like, oh, wow, everyone's actually good. We got something here. It's just, just because you haven't played for a while, I guess it just takes you a couple games to get the rust off and then you're good to go.
And I know you've got a proud sponsor of the Champions this year with a brand new cup, right?
The Steffes Cup, yep. So we're the SSWHL presented by Steffes Auctioneers. So we're very, very, fortunate to have worked out that deal. And we went up and Jenna and I met with them at Agribition last week, or is that 2 weeks ago now? And it all worked out and they're, an awesome company and they're stepping up to help women's hockey. And we're all going to be competing for the Steffes Cup now.
Very cool. Very cool.
The season wraps up end of January?
Yeah, give or take around there, and then playoffs.
Okay. All right. So we got some hockey to take us into February. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that'll be conversations for next year, too, of how many games we'll be playing for, a regular season. I'm assuming we'll be playing more games. This year we went with 12, but I think next year we'll be looking closer to at least 16. But that'll be a conversation for after.
Get through the first season and then start talking about next year, right? One thing at a time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Awesome. Megan LeBlanc, of course, co-founder of the SSWHL. Really appreciate the time today, Megan.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, we do appreciate the conversation with Megan LeBlanc. If you missed any of it and you want to go back, you can feel free to do so at sportscage.com or our YouTube channel as well. Still to come, we're going to take a look at your sprinkle of the day and, of course, Sports Ticker. First, we're going to take a quick break. This is the Sports Cage, the home of local sports at 620 CKRM and at sportscage.com.
Ready to raise your shower game? Rent a water heater and water softener together from Reliance Heath and turn every shower into a spa-worthy experience. Right now, when you rent a new water heater and water softener together, you'll get $400 back, sent by check after installation. Why settle for meh when you can upgrade your whole home's water and get big cashback savings? Don't miss out on this limited time offer.
Call on Reliance.
Call on Reliance Heath today.
So, since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it.
I don't even know.
That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here. I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262 for Prairie Land Rentals. Renting heaters, skid steers, and most power tools for all those winter jobs. And your official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer. Prairie Land Rentals, 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. It's time for the Sports Ticker. Brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Bundle and save with Reliance Heath. Rent a new water heater and softener together and get $400 cash back. Call on Reliance Heath today.
It's Teagan Whitco, Dave Thomas, and Curtis, the producer, with you. Taking a look at the NHL slate for tonight. 5 games, including 2 Canadian teams. You got Tampa Bay in Toronto taking on the Leafs, and then the Buffalo Sabres travel to Calgary to take on the Flames. Also, did just kind of want to quickly mention here, Detroit Red Wings. That's a hard word to say. Red Wings. They take on the Vancouver Canucks. And then we also have the Mammoth that are hosting the Kings. And officially announced this morning, their star forward, Logan Cooley, is out. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He got back up. Didn't look that bad. Didn't play on Saturday.
No.
So we were thinking, okay, maybe he's just getting a double check looked at. He's out indefinitely. 0 timeline for his return. Just saying lower body, but that did not look pretty. So hopefully he's doing okay. And Logan Cooley, especially if you're a Mammoth fan.
Yes.
NFL Week 14 wrapping things up tonight in what is going to be a big game with playoff positioning in the league. Philadelphia Eagles in taking on the Chargers. So that's, you and I have been talking about this one a little bit. Are you going to rage watch just because you are a Cowboys fan?
I can't cheer for Philadelphia under any ways, and it really hurts me in a lot of aspects of when you're in NFL pools and you've got fantasy going on, and I can't get over that hump.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that tell me that Philadelphia shouldn't win tonight, but just because I know that they want to, despite what Dallas is trying to mount here in the last half of the season, something tells me, they're going to walk all over them tonight or something ridiculous like that.
You never know. It's not over until it's over.
I know, but still, I throw intuition aside, and it's all heart in the picks when it comes to Philadelphia. And as you can see, what Dave, you just said that you thought they would win. Yeah, I think they're going to win because it hurts the Cowboys. That's why.
Yeah. We're going to get to the sprinkle of the day here in a moment. So we'll circle back to that one. The Jets were announced to be the host of the Outdoor Heritage Classic in 2026. That means the Montreal Canadiens are going to be in Western Canada for that. 8 Heritage Classic, and only the first since 2023, surprisingly.
Yeah, so that last one was in Edmonton, right?
Yeah, Battle of Alberta.
That celebrated the anniversary of the first one that the Oilers did with Montreal back in the day, right? That was when Gretzky returned and they had the Legends game, and they probably shouldn't have played the game because it was so cold. And again, what the contingency plan wasn't a second date for an outdoor game. It was to move it indoors to Rexall Place the next day.
So completely defeating the purpose.
Yes.
Gotcha. Understood.
So, but they went ahead and they played it despite the cold. And I know people that went and sat in that cold, and believe you me, you deserve something special for sitting in that. Not just because you had to take in the Habs and Oilers, but because it was that cold, right? And then we've held one here at Mosaic Stadium.
2019.
That was Calgary and Winnipeg, right?
Correct.
I couldn't remember that for the life of me, but there's a lot of people that I know now as well that have went to that. And from what I hear on my phone today, there's a lot of people that are thinking that we're going to bundle up, go to Winnipeg, take in Princess Auto Stadium.
That does sound like a pretty cool venue to have one of those games at. And it's always just so much fun being able to bring it back, the OG ODR feel, even though I'm sure there are hundreds of thousands of dollars put into that ice. Thank you, Curtis. It's still just so cool as a Canadian hockey fan.
What I think is the funniest part of the whole thing, though, is that, okay, number one, first of all, if you're worried about the weather, that game is actually going to be played in Winnipeg before this year's Grey Cup on the calendar. So
But we lucked out this year.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But the other thing is, no matter what, I'm pretty sure that the arena is going to be the right length. I'm pretty confident.
Yeah?
Can't get that in the Olympics. Tell you that right now.
No, there's been videos surfacing all over Twitter of the beloved Lang rink, the one with the drawbridge that comes down to get onto the ice that you know well.
Lang, Saskatchewan. It is
Saskatchewan.
Really cool ice surface, right? Where the drawbridge is the stairs where you come down from upstairs onto the ice surface right in the face-off circle.
Yeah, it's so unique, and you can see this video on the stream right now. This video itself went viral years ago, and the internet being the internet and what it does and the way people share content. I'm not going to name names, but someone was convinced that this was the actual Olympic rink that they were constructing for the Olympics.
I hate to say this, the ice is better there right now than it is in Italy. In that rink there, that is something remarkable, and how grown-ups in 2026 don't have a backup plan.
Yep.
Blows my mind.
Especially with, again, all the money tied to the Olympics.
You can't tell me, though, there is no way, is there? There's no way that the NHL is not going to be there. I know that's a double negative. The NHL has to be playing in Italy. There's too much at stake. There's too much on the line. They've made too many contingency plans in North America with their league. It's not like you can just go, okay, we're not going. Sorry, good luck. We'll see us again in 4 years.
It's not like it's a guarantee every time the Winter Olympics come around.
No, it's not. And you just can't. I can't see a way that the NHL walks away, because they'll have massive amount of egg on their face if they do.
Yeah.
They can't just go ahead and reconvene the league in North America, because that is absolutely impossible, not only because of the venues, how they're going to be booked already, right? So how do you do that?
And then they jammed in the NHL schedule already, and people are having concerns about that as players and injuries and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot more to it.
They have to go. I just don't know where they play, but they have to go, don't they?
I think they do, but I don't know. I'm not an event planner, nor do I pretend to be. I don't know how much work would have to go into that venue right now to make sure that this thing actually happens.
Well, by the looks of it, and Curtis put up the latest picture that we have, it's an open air facility right now.
Yeah.
With no seats and no ice plants.
Good. It's not good.
And it blows my mind. I would love to know, is there anybody that really thinks that the NHL isn't going to go? They have to go. I just don't know where they go.
Well, I mean, the closer and closer you get, it does make you think. It makes you wonder.
But they just can't pull the pin, because then they're the ultimate bad guys.
Wow.
There's contracts and sponsorships and all kinds of things built into this.
And players who want a gold medal.
Yeah.
Some of these players might not be around for the next one. They might not still be playing. So this could be their last opportunity to get that gold.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of layers to this, but I do agree. You're right. I think that it needs to happen. I hope they can figure it out.
Speaking of get that gold, I think it's time for the sprinkle of the day, Teagan.
Curtis.
Wow.
He's having too much fun with that cash register over there. But yes, you are right. Sprinkle of the day for Sports Select. So if you haven't played around with this yet, you absolutely should. Get in on the sports action. Just go to sportsselect.com. Make your picks online. Then it gives you that QR code, spits it out, and then you go to your local Lotto Spot retailer. You can also still fill out the paper. It's all good. They're not taking that away from you.
Yeah.
But you can definitely place your bets. Every one of them 100% legal with the chance of winning cash in hand. Sports Select. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. Must be 18 plus. Play responsibly. What are you... Okay, well, you kind of already told me what you're going to take in tonight's Monday Nighter.
He zipped by it, did Curtis, but again... Philadelphia on the road, 2.5-point favorites. Now, again, that's not a great deal, right?
Yeah.
But still.
I mean, you could
Justin
go for
Herbert,
it, take the Chargers.
Yeah. Is Herbert going to be okay? He's playing, right?
Yeah, he is playing. At least those are the last reports that I saw. But dude just had surgery on his left hand. So he's going to be trying to get that ball out quickly. It might be a heavy run game.
Yeah, it's his left hand. What does he need it for? He throws with the right. Really?
I mean, I guess he caught a point there, but wouldn't you want to be protecting that hand at all costs?
Well, I'm curious. I want to know if he wears the club. You see offensive linemen, right? Or usually defensive linemen, right? Bust up an arm or a hand or something, they put the club on. So
I don't know. I feel like there's so many quarterbacks that are superstitious and have their set routine.
Absolutely.
I don't know, man. But yeah, 2.5-point favorites for Philly tonight. Over under 41.5.
I'd actually go over on that.
Would you?
Yeah.
You know what? I tend to agree. It's in LA.
Yeah.
So
perfect
okay.
conditions.
Yeah. It should be pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, that was your sprinkle of the day. By the way, if you also maybe wanted to place some futures bets, we now know a little bit more of what the FIFA World Cup is going to look like. So maybe you want to go in there and you want to, see what the action is on some teams.
Switzerland all the way. No, they're in Canada's group. I take that back.
Yeah, easy, buddy. But yeah, Stanley Cup, Super Bowl, NBA Final, NCAA, NASCAR, so much more. So go check it out. Again, bet on the original, but please play responsibly at sportsselect.ca. That is your sprinkle of the day. And it looks like we need to take a quick break. On the other side, we will have our buddy Wes Cates join us to talk a little CFL and NFL. This is the Sports Cage, the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
Do you have a safety program or OHS committee? Call Campbell Safety. Harassment in the workplace? Call Campbell Safety. Don't know if you have a proper safety program? Call Campbell Safety. Once you have an injury, it's too late to have a safety program. Be proactive with Campbell Safety Consulting. They'll come out and customize your safety program and be that extra set of eyes you need. 35 years experience doing health and safety, and they have seen it all, and then some. Call them today and get a free consultation. Campbell Safety Consulting.
Sask Lotteries has over 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
We are 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station, broadcasting live from downtown Regina.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Corey Atkinson from the sasktoday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM news. Old Man Winter is expected to rear his head this week. A developing low-pressure system over southern Alberta is forecast to move into southern Saskatchewan tomorrow, bringing freezing rain, snow, and increasing winds. Environment Canada says freezing rain may start in the morning from Kindersley to Estevan, followed by heavier snow in the southeast and parklands, where 10 to 20 centimeters is possible. Blowing snow may form as winds strengthen. Forecasters say totals may vary, but the storm could still trigger warnings expected later today. Opposition NDP health critic Mira Conway demanded today that Premier Scott Moe denounce any move towards private American-style health care by 4:30, warning he may follow Alberta Premier Danielle Smith's approach. Conway said at a news conference that Smith's changes allow doctors to bill publicly while charging user fees, which he believes violates the Canada Health Act. She notes there are serious concerns with privatized health care.
Private, for-profit health care drives up costs to the public. It results in worse patient outcomes. And it is also known to push healthcare workers out of the public health system.
She plans to write the federal government this week and ask the Sask Party to join her. Conway said Moe refused to give a clear answer in question period last week. A deadly two-vehicle crash on Highway 11 between Lumsden and Regina is under investigation by Lumsden RCMP. Police say they were called around 3:45 p.m. yesterday after a car and a semi collided. A 29-year-old man from Regina who drove the car died at the scene. His family has been told. The semi driver reported no injuries. No passengers were in either vehicle as RCMP and a collision reconstructionist review the crash. Saskatchewan's average gas price has dipped to $1.22.11 per litre, down 2.5 cents from last week, while Canada's average price sits at $1.27.19, Gas Buddy says. Analyst Patrick DeHaan says steady oil prices and lower demand are pushing prices down in most provinces. Saskatoon dropped to $1.18.81 per litre, and Regina edged down to $1.26.62. The Saskatchewan Research Council has signed a contract with an American company to supply it with rare earth minerals. The Crown Corporation says the 5-year agreement will see Real Alloys, Inc. purchase the minerals for defense industrial-based clients in the United States. The Research Council processes various critical minerals at its facility in Saskatoon. And the Golden Globe nominations are now out during a tumultuous time for the movie business. ABC's Mike Dubusky has more.
Netflix led the field of nominations at the Golden Globes this year, getting recognized for movies like Frankenstein and TV shows like Adolescence. Netflix picked up 35 nominations in total, while Warner Brothers Discovery got 31, including for One Battle After Another. Last week, Netflix announced it has a definitive agreement to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery for more than $80 billion, though Paramount now says it's also placed a bid to buy the company. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
That was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
Weather brought to you by Linex Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street. Partly cloudy and breezy overnight, dropping to -9. Tomorrow, a mix of rain and snow, wind up to 40 kilometers an hour and a high of 0. Wednesday, partly sunny, wind a bit breezy, 20 kilometers an hour and a high of -12. Thursday, early flurries, then cloudy, and we'll be dropping to -14. Friday, sunny and cold with a high of -24.
For 40 years, the team from Linex Regina has been protecting vehicles across Saskatchewan, and we're changing with the times. 3 generations of our family have protected your vehicles. Our business has evolved, and we're not stopping now. The next generation is here. Same family, same commitment, ready for the next generation of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards in all kinds of colors. Linex Regina, 1865 McCarra Street, the next generation of protective coatings.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Kellen Solar, 35 years of experience, moving water from a dugout or well without electricity. Visit kellensolar.com to find out more about your livestock operation. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Well, thanks for joining us on the Monday edition of the Sports Cage. I am your Monday host, Teagan Whitco, and I am joined alongside our producer, Colson, voice of your Saskatchewan. Oh, he caught me. I thought I was going to get away with it. It's Curtis. He was telling us how much that bugged him earlier, so I just had to get one in. I'm sorry. I had to. You can't tell me if it bugs you. I'm just going to keep doing it. Yes, Curtis is back there. Voice of the Riders, Dave Thomas, is with me. And our next guest is ready to go here in just a moment. But if you did miss anything in our first hour of the show today, you can always go back and listen at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel. Megan LeBlanc from the Sask Seniors Women's Hockey League was on the show talking about the inaugural season. Great conversation here. And of course, still down the line, we got Darian Durant that's going to swing by. We're going to chat with Brad Herauf, coach of your Regina Pats, your clutch performer, all that and more still to come. Right now, however, we got our buddy Wes Cates is in with us. I'm going to call you by the right name. I'm not going to screw that one up.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Teagan.
Of course, Rider legend, Grey Cup champion. We are into the off season, so there's still lots to talk about. We have Trevor Harris coming back for another season. Tommy Stevens also re-signing. So,
yeah.
What do you think the next priorities are?
I mean, there's definitely. Well, you got your 2 quarterbacks locked up, right? You got your starter and your short yardage guy. So I think, obviously, to kind of keep things on the offensive side of the ball, I think you definitely want to lock down a couple of receivers. Like, there was a lot of receivers in this receiving core, but there's some guys that have been dinged up, some guys that really came through. So I think considering Dante Myers is down in the States, having some workouts and stuff like that, you can't really expect him not to sign with the athletic ability that he has. I think he'll at least be in a camp somewhere. So I think that makes Keyshawn Johnson a really important piece that you want to bring back. Obviously, he was Mr. Second Down, right? And he was the go-to guy for Trevor, and he stayed healthy. And they seem to have a connection that's not going to be easy to replicate. So I think that definitely he's the guy that you want to go ahead and sign. I mean, I don't know how much guys are going to cost, but he's one guy that I think you're probably going to be able to, spend a little more on. And then there's maybe some other guys you try to get a deal on. But I think you need Keyshawn back because he was that one mainstay that really was important to that offense, kind of moving the sticks.
Trevor Harris, based on reports, took a bit of a team discount to come back, if you will.
Did he?
A little team-friendly action. That's what I'm going to call it.
I mean, he's got a young family, but he's been playing for a long time, so he should, if he's got a good, financier, somebody who, if he's got somebody handling his money, or if he likes to dabble in that stuff, then he should have a little nest egg, right? I hope he's not rolling through a few $100,000 a year. I hope he's got some money stashed away, but he does have a family, and that, things are expensive these days. So I appreciate it, Trevor, if you took that little pay cut. I mean, no, because those are the type of things that really make the difference between, when we won a championship in 2007, Kerry Joseph had taken a pay cut to build some guys around him. So I think it's smart. It behooves him, and I don't think he's in it for the money at this point. I think he's in it for a possible chance at another championship. So it makes sense. I'm not surprised, but you never know. I mean,
at what point or stage of a player's career, Wes, does that request, whether it's a request or the, hey, I'm willing to take less for myself, when does that become a point of pride or compared to maybe a point of disrespect? At what point does that change? Because it's a fine line, I would suggest.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think it comes down to more kind of how your career has gone up to that point. Like, because there's some guys that maybe are, in their 30s, but maybe they were bouncing around in the NFL, then they ended up here. Maybe they don't have a bunch of money, so they're really just still trying to, make some money off of this. And if you're playing at a high level, you're number one, number two in the league, then you're going to ask for your money. But then there's guys who, are lucky, like a quarterback position, or maybe a Canadian offensive lineman, or maybe a guy who's been a number one receiver or running back for years. Then they have that type of money saved up, and they can kind of be like, I've made my money. Now I'm in it for the rings. It's important to me. Yeah, there you go. There you go, Kurt. So I think it's kind of more where you're at as a person, but you also, like, if you're putting up big time numbers and you're always the guy, and then your team just assumes you're going to take less money, I would maybe take that as a little disrespect. I'd be like, you got to approach it lightly as a general manager, right? You kind of got to be like, so what are you thinking? Are we trying to win it again? Are you happy? Like,
what's it going to take? Even with those guys around you on the receiving core.
I feel like you almost have to concede a little bit of maybe letting that guy help build the roster if he's going to take a pay cut, and he should have some say on who he likes or who he thinks he should keep. Like, make sure we keep this guy, that guy. If I'm going to give up some of my money, I want to make sure it's going to people that I think, are going to help me win.
So are you pointing then right at the offensive line, saying, okay, I want this guy blocking for me. I want these two guys catching passes, and if we don't have him at middle linebacker, then we're in trouble. Is that specifically like that?
I think if I was in that position, I'd say that. I don't know if that's the way it goes down. I'm sorry, guys. I've never had the pleasure. You know what I mean? But if I'm taking a pay cut, you guys are like, we can't do it without you, but we also need you to maybe hit us a little lighter in the pockets. And I'm like, all right, well then I need so-and-so. Y'all better re-sign this guy. And I'm approaching it like that.
Sorry, you go ahead.
I was going to say DMs that I've received, right, in the last couple of days since Trevor has signed is, why haven't we heard that Emilus has re-signed? Why haven't we heard that AJ Ouellette has re-signed already? Is that a concern that we haven't heard anything like that? Or that this is still very early in the offseason, isn't it?
Yeah, it takes time. And those guys are, like I would say, Emilus, he was being banged up this season, but he's balled when he was out there. And I think his injuries were more kind of due to like bad luck, just getting rolled up on or whatever the case may be, as opposed to him not being physically prepared and ready. And he's been great in the blocking game. Like, he's great physical receiver. He's shown that he can have that separation. He runs great routes. I mean, you go 10 for 10 on all your targets in the biggest game of the year, and you're known as a blocker, and you're gritty. I think, and then AJ, he's kind of the same way, been dinged up at times.
Yeah.
But I think both of those guys, I mean, they don't have the luxury of getting paid like a quarterback. I mean, 150, 200,000, depending on how many residents you're living. If you're paying to live up here, you're still paying for somewhere in the States. That's not a ton of money. So you're probably still trying to get what you can. But you're also probably not going to break the bank to the extent of, no, I just want to be a free agent and go get the most money. You do want to stay here. So you're saying, well, I want to probably make about the same or maybe a little more, or maybe we can do something that's a little more incentive based and maybe I can take a little less upfront money. I see guys are kind of working that into their contract. And now with the whole appearance money coming back, which I don't know, it kind of got abused when I was playing and it went away. So now that it's back, that's an easy way to kind of, give guys a little more cash on top.
Can you take me inside the marketing money? And how was it abused?
Yeah, I think when I was playing, it was kind of like, guys were just getting like crazy amounts of marketing money. And then I'm not sure if it was, I don't know who was complaining about it, but basically it kind of came down to, well, how are we evaluating how these guys deserve this money? So then it started to turn into, well, how many appearances are you going to, and who are you? Why do you deserve 5,000 an appearance or whatever? You know what I mean? So like with a quarterback, obviously quarterbacks, when they're going to speaking engagements, that stuff of that nature, when you can go stand up in front of a group and talk to people for 20, 30 minutes, then maybe you do deserve 10 grand, 15, 20 grand, who knows? But some of these other players, are they a draw like that? So then it kind of turned into a situation where I think they only let it be like 300 or 500 per appearance. So that kind of was like, hold up, now we're kind of dropping it below if you're asking guys to go out and talk. But it was kind of just a standard of like, if you're just showing up and hanging out, it's a few $100. If you're actually doing speaking engagements, then I think there was a little more room for argument. But it was starting to be a situation where there was a bunch of guys who were just getting the money and weren't really out in the community. So that was kind of how that went away. But now that it's back, I'm kind of wishing I was feeling a little spry.
Well, you wonder what Gainer's marketing money is all about now, right?
I feel it could be worked out on. Tyson Philpott, highest Canadian paid receiver now. That is something pretty impressive, but he did also, now he won't be able to go down to the NFL and try out there. So now he's committed. Do you think that that's a healthy balance? Like, where does a player sit down and take a look at that and say, okay, am I going to lock in now for a couple of years, make this money I feel comfortable making, and then I also have job stability in the CFL, risking the possibility of being able to sign south of the border?
Well, I guess it depends on your position and your nationalism, right? I mean, if you're a guy from the States, I think you always have had a dream to play in the NFL, right? So I think a guy that's from the States that plays up here, gets a chance to go back down and work out, should do it one time. And if you don't make it, then just, just show your team in the CFL that you're not really trying to go back. Because if they think every time your contract's up, you're going to try to see if you can make it on the NFL roster, then there's no point in building around a guy that you might only have for half the season or the later half of the season, right? It just messes up team chemistry. But for a Canadian, I can see where you might not ever even, I don't know if I even want to go down to the States. First of all, I mean, it's one thing to say, I'm a top receiver up here, but then like the intent, like the size and the speed and like that kind of gets a lot more in your way in the NFL. Like Philpotts, they're not big guys. They're great receivers, and they probably could get on the NFL roster and produce, but I don't know what their 40 times are, but I know I'm talking like they're the exact same guy, but I mean, they're pretty similar.
Yeah, they are
identical twins, right? But they're not 4'3" guys. They're not 6'4". You know what I mean? I doubt they're benching 400 pounds. So like you get down to the States, you got big, quick, strong DBs covering you, and they're right there at the line with you. So you might not want to give up the good money up here to go down there and get beat up off the line all day, right? So, I mean, there is something nice about having that waggle and having that space to work with that makes the receiver look really good, and it might go away kind of quick once you're stagnant with, a guy that's just as big or bigger than you and maybe faster than you covering you, right? So it's tough.
I see 2022 Combine, Jalen ran a 4.65 and Tyson ran a 4.59 in the 40.
Which, that's fast, but that's not fast enough for for the personnel guys to be like, oh, look at this kid. Like you really got to be like a strong 4.4 as a receiver, I would say, before people are really paying you attention. And then once you get down to 4.3, 4.2s, then it's like, oh, this guy's flying. But 4.5, 4.6 is fast. And like there's fast off the line and there's just fast on the field. So a guy who's running a 4.6, actually when you're running around chasing him, when he's got momentum coming off the line, he might actually play more like a 4.4. Yeah. But it's hard to, basically when you're coming off the line and running a 40, that's what you're judged off of. And then the other stuff is kind of like, okay, if we see enough film on you and we watch you actually make separation and get open all the time, then maybe we throw that 4.6 out the window. But
there used to be a perception that players that were in the Canadian Football League and would go down to the NFL. So, for example, like Dante Myers right now. The other one example going way back is Andy Fantuz. That something changes about their body or their physique, their psychology or something when they come back, that it takes time to reintegrate into the CFL. Is that a perception that's reality?
I think it is, because you always want to kind of forget about the stuff that's going to get in the way of you being your best, like in the moment. Yeah. So I think when you're dealing with the waggle and you're dealing with a more nuanced working in space game, and then all of a sudden you're in the NFL where it's all about timing and getting off the line and having a good move off the line, and then coming out of your breaks and the ball's there now because the field is smaller and all this stuff. So you just learn to play quicker and expect things to happen faster. And then when you come back up here and you try to convert back, it's like you're doing too much almost. And the CFL is more of a, there's playing with the waggle, and there's more like figuring out your spaces, working with your receivers. There's more of a passing game, less of a running game, and, just mentally getting into a blocking and that sort of thing. So I think it's definitely, it's for as much as, it's still football, they're two-way, like totally, completely different games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. It would take me forever to get used to that, honestly. That sounds like it would be so challenging, especially in the next couple of years. There's going to be some changes to the rules in the Canadian game. So if you leave for a bit next season, come back.
I mean, it's not impossible. I'm saying, like, you'll get it back. But,
I just meant for me.
Yeah,
it would be impossible.
No. But I think what happened with Fantuz was he actually got hurt while he was down there.
That was in Chicago,
and then he came back and he was hampered from the injury. And then it was a whole nother, moving to a different team because he wanted to get back home. And so I think just him almost, take the chance. Like, if you got a chance to go down to the States and maybe make millions versus making a couple $100,000, I mean, you
before the home team discount,
you got to kind of shoot your shot. But
you want a little trivia, Wes?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a guess how fast Andy Fantuz was in his combine, in his 40-yard.
Fantuz? He was probably like a 4.7.
4.7?
4.75. I won't even give him a 4.75.
Wow. What do you think, Dave?
Because I'd like Andy Fantuz to appear on this program, I'm saying he ran a 4.4.
4.4?
No.
All right, Teagan, you got any guesses?
I'd say 4.6, though. I'll say 4.6. Big man running 4.6.
He might have been a 4.6.
4.5.
4.5?
Yeah.
He ran a 5-second flat.
Oh.
Yeah. See?
Wow.
Like, Fantuz is not, like, he's not like, I know he's not fast, but that dude had routes. I don't know what it was. I used to call it the Fantuz step. He'd get them shoulders rolling and them big hands moving, and next thing you know, he's open. And then he could track down the ball, man. And that's what I'm talking about, where sometimes, like, your 40 speed doesn't necessarily translate to your in-game speed, because if the ball was coming, Fantuz had a gear to catch up to it and snag it. Or maybe it was just because he had long arms and big hands, he could just reach out and grab everything. But one way or another, he was getting to it, and he was a problem when he caught it too. So, yeah, that's a perfect example of, like, speed isn't everything, right? Like, 5 flat, dang.
Well, and at a combine,
that's
you're
like
also
O-line.
You're kind of in the microscope. You know, you're being watched, you're being monitored. I don't know.
And it's all about knowing how to run a 40. Clearly, like I guarantee you, Fantus could run a faster 40 than that if he was coached up on technique. But dang, 5 flat, that's no good.
Some of us just aren't good at tests.
That's right.
And that's fine.
That's right.
It's fine by me. So CFL schedule comes out tomorrow. Earliest we've seen it come out in a long time. I'm sure you remember back to last season. Felt like it took ages to see what the schedule was going to look like. But how much, when you were a player, how much did you really care about that day? I mean, especially with this current roster coming off of a Grey Cup win, they're probably still drinking some beer out of the Grey Cup as we speak.
Yeah.
So are they really paying attention to that, or is it more for the fans?
Nah, that's for the fans. Like, you don't even think about it. I don't ever remember looking at the full schedule ever. You know what I mean? I was
just what's like, next week?
We're in camp. All right, who we play week 1? All right. like what do we like? Let's just get the game plan in. Let's go. Whoever we got to play, that's what it is. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe if you got some really bad get back in you, like maybe you just re-sign with a new team and you're like, all right, like for me, when I was in Calgary, then got traded in the preseason, but say I'd signed in the offseason with the Riders, I'd have been like, when do we play Calgary? I tell you what, I'm going to do some extra stretching that week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. You got that fire in your belly.
Yeah. But
speaking of Calgary, if I had said to you in Calgary that John Hufnagel would be in the CFL longer than you were, what would you have said? And are you surprised at this new role that he's taking in Toronto?
What's the Hufnagel's got another role?
Yeah, he's now a senior advisor with the Toronto Argonauts. Kind of what he was doing in Calgary last year.
No, for sure. When I got up here, I was a 26-year-old rookie. I'm still surprised I stayed because they put me on practice roster, and I was like, I need to go home. They're paying me $500 to let cats I know I'm better than them play. But so I figured I only had like a handful of years up here. You know what I mean? And it's funny because that's what guys would always say to me. It's like, oh, dang, you're that old? I thought you were young. I'm like, nah, I just got up here late, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, players, no. You know your time. Well, I hope you know your time's going to be short or you're kind of living a dream. But, the coaches and the gyms, you're like, yeah, whatever. You're probably going to forget you even cut me in 2 years, right?
Any interactions with John while you were there? Because it was a short crossover.
I was Tom Higgins. I was Higgins, though. Higgins guy, was the head coach. Yeah, Hufnagel was –
he would come the year
Montreal.
after.
Yeah. So, but Hufnagel was a good coach. I mean, there's a couple of coaches I wouldn't have mind working with. I know Wally Bono was one.
Yeah.
Hufnagel maybe. And, I did like Steve Barato. I got to work. He was offensive coordinator in Calgary my rookie year. And then he ended up being like an assistant offensive coach here for 1 year. I want to say like 2010. He was a good coordinator. I liked him though.
What makes a good coordinator? Just their ability to maximize what you can do, or their ability to see what others are doing?
I think one, to have a good playbook to start off, but then to be able to incorporate your skills into their playbook or open up their playbook a little bit to incorporate your skills, right? I think he was good at, because I was a running back stuck at fullback because they didn't have a Canadian fullback on the roster, and he found a way to get me the ball at tight end, at running back, at fullback, at, you know what I mean, at receiver. And then we had like some really tricky plays in his playbook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I always appreciated that about him because some coordinators kind of just have their stuff they stick to. And then there's something to be said about that because you got to be good at your kind of base stuff, but it's also fun. Like I said a lot this season during the our air times, that you got to kind of throw those wrinkles in because it keeps guys focused and it makes it fun and it keeps them engaged. And then when those wrinkles, those big plays that you throw in hit in a game, it sparks your team. It really does.
You watch any NFL yesterday?
Yeah, man. Both of the Ohio teams found a way to lose. I was so mad about that, man. Burrow. I thought for sure the Bengals was going to, be battling for a chance at the playoffs last week of the season. And then Burrow 2 picks in a row.
Yeah.
And they go down to Buffalo. Should have won that game. And then my boy Shedeur Sanders was balling. I have him in like 2 fantasy leagues. I almost had him in a third. But I played him in one, set him in the other. And I was like, I know I should have played him in both. But
I think he's getting QB1 again.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's either going to be like a great quarterback forever, or he's going to be like a Jameis Winston where he's like still fun to watch, but you know what I mean, a little dicey, might have, couple, known to throw a pick or two. But I think he's off to a good start. I knew he was going to be good. He's raised by one of the best, if not the best, football player and like persona creator. You know what I mean? There's something about being like just a good person and then finding a way to create a persona. I mean, sometimes you can get a little extra with it, but Deion Sanders always played so great that he was like his persona never was bigger than him.
It matched the level of play, right?
Yeah.
You know, Dave and I were talking a little bit earlier about Aaron Rodgers, who I know you got family members who cheer for the Steelers, which is just beyond me because you happen to cheer for Ohio teams, and one of them being the Bengals, so that's baffling. But
well, that's kind of because Ohio teams always just like let my dad down, so he just went over to the Steelers.
He went to the rival. Okay, gotcha. But I don't know if anybody would have expected to see an Aaron Rodgers-led Steeler team at this point in the season.
Yeah, I think he's pretty much out. How do I say it? I feel like he's almost washed up, but he's a tough dude. I mean, he almost got his nose broke. He's out there with a broken wrist, you know what I mean? And then he still like does a fake and run. I don't even think that was like a design run. He just decided to take off and run for a score, and then he's still pretty accurate. So I ain't mad at Aaron. You know what I mean? I guess I tell you, I don't know. His off-field stuff is kind of what turns you off. You know what I mean? Like he's with all the.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Off-field drama. No. Is there anything more drama right now than American college football? Whether it's coaches leaving, transfer portals opening and closing all over the place. Like it is so different.
See, it's cool, but for me, I'm like, y'all coaches get paid enough, and it's about time these kids got paid. Like they're making all this money for the universities, so these coaches are making like millions of dollars to like deal with it. Like, what you crying about? Like, you gonna get somebody. Like for every guy you lose in the portal, you're gonna get somebody. So quit crying, do your job.
But what about the tiers in Notre Dame? Notre Dame isn't given a bowl game, essentially, right? They're not ranked high enough.
Yeah.
So they
that was because of the head-to-head, wasn't it?
Yeah,
because
head-to-head.
Was it Miami?
Was.
Who did
it'll come to me, but they'd pack up their stuff and leave. Yeah, we're not playing in a bowl game. See you later. Like what?
Oh, they said they weren't going to play.
They're not going to
because
play
they didn't make in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't hear about that. I wonder if the coach what's his name? I hope he didn't make that decision. I hope that was like somebody above him that said that, because that ain't gonna look good. That's lame.
That's tough. Like that's a lot of money. A bowl game for a
it is Notre Dame.
Well, it is.
They ain't worried about it. No way. They're like we're the only we're non-conference. Like people like beg us to come play them. So if there's one team that could do it, it's Notre Dame.
Yeah, true. True. But we're taking our ball and we're going home.
Well, still, it's not a good look. What does that say about the locker room?
I mean, if I was a player, I don't know. Like a lot of your older guys are probably like, whatever. I'm probably trying to go to the league anyway. I was probably going to say I wasn't playing in the bowl anyway, so I didn't get hurt. Trying to make my money. There's going to be a few guys that are like, oh, that's messed up. But for the guys who have professional ambitions, they're probably like, well, sweet. Now I don't have to say I'm not playing.
Totally fair. I didn't think about it that way. Okay, real quick tonight, Monday nighter, Philly or LA? Who you got?
See, I've always been a Hurts fan, but he's been playing like trash this year for the most part.
Agreed.
That's a tough one. I think I'm gonna go LA just because Philly. I don't even know what to think of them right now. They're like. They could be in the Super Bowl again, or they might not even make the playoffs, I feel like. But
yeah.
But L.A., Harbaugh, he's a good leader. He's going to make sure they at least give effort. Great quarterback, a lot of receivers.
In L.A.?
Yeah, there you go, in L.A. Good weather, but L.A.'s a good weather spot, so it doesn't even matter. Like, if you're Philly, you're like, thank you, we're in L.A., because it's like crappy in Philly.
Right? It's not pretty. Surprisingly, Eagles the favorite.
Yeah, I mean, they should be. They should be, but if you're watching them for the last month, you're like, I might have to put some money on L.A.
Spoken like a true Luke Mullender.
Hey, no, it's different because he's not betting our money.
That's right, exactly. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to get my payment on that.
Good luck.
No, Wes Cates, appreciate you taking the time to come chat with us as always.
Always fun.
I'm sure we're going to have more to talk about throughout the off season as we get closer and closer.
And we didn't even get into the gingerbread house making.
Oh, yeah, that was... Actually, I got a compliment.
Yeah, I told you would. Like, you were all over it. The Harvard Media Christmas Party and the gingerbread house decorating contest. And Wes Cates was...
I must admit, the presentation skills, second to none.
Absolutely.
Like in a room full of radio people, you embarrassed us.
Stop it.
It was good.
It was a good delivery, though. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
There's the Wes I know. Love that. Okay, buddy. Well, we are going to take a break. I have to wait for the applause to die down. Sorry. Curtis. Yeah, no, I'll get your name right. Don't worry. Wes Cates, legendary former Rider running back, Grey Cup champion. Again, appreciate you as always. This is the Monday edition of the Sports Cage, brought to you by Kellen Solar, installing solar in residential and commercial buildings for 35 years. Local and trusted Kellen Solar. Visit kellensolar.com. We still have another guest to join us on the other side on the Western Pizza guest hotline. So we'll get to that in a bit, but first we will also have your clutch performer. So hang tight. I'll be right back. This is the Sports Cage on the home of local sports and your Saskatchewan Roughriders on 620 CKRM and sportscage.com.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
This is Brian Gawley with Smart Investing Solutions. Successful farmers and business owners, please listen to me for the next 30 seconds. When the time comes, how are you going to get your corporate retained earnings and profits out of your operating company in order to fund your retirement without paying too much income tax? If you don't know and you need options, call me, Brian Gawley, at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533, or go to smartinvestingsolutions.ca.
Experience a harvest so fundamentally different with performance and efficiency other combines just can't match. Experience a Gleaner S98 from Nick Service. There's no inefficient gearboxes or hydraulics robbing your combine of power, keeping your Gleaner a lean, mean harvesting machine. They save more and cost you less. To learn more about putting a Gleaner S98 on your farm, visit Nick Service, your AGCO dealer in Emerald Park. nickservice.com.
Looking for the best gear at the best price? Extreme Hockey and Sport just raised the bar. Now, with a price match guarantee, find the same product anywhere else, show the price, and they'll match it. The gear you need, the service you trust, and the price you want. Why settle for anything less? Get the local loyalty and the price match guarantee only at Extreme Hockey. Any budget, expert fit. Your local sit and fit hockey shop. Extreme Hockey and Sport, 1425 McIntyre Street, Regina's Hockey Shop.
The Sports Cage Clutch Performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fendt dealer. Call 781-1077.
Yes, it is your clutch performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park. And I know we briefly chatted about this individual to start off the show. If you missed it, you can always go back and watch in podcast form. But Logan Thompson makes 39 saves to nab his 100th NHL win and the Washington Capitals 2-0 victory against the Columbus Blue Jackets yesterday. It was Thompson's first shutout of the season. So he is, 5-0-1 over his past 6 starts, and this win also did push Washington to an 8-game win streak. So that is my clutch performer, Logan Thompson. Dave, you got one?
I'm going to go with Saskatoon's Bruce Cordy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, won the Canadian Senior Men's Curling Championship in Ottawa over the weekend. Amber Holland had to settle for a silver, but Cordy did it in style, only dropped 1 game all week long, and then he was able to beat, again, who I would have considered to be the favorite, Mike Harris out of Ontario. Again, very well-respected curler, and not only did he beat him once, he beat him twice in the round. He beat him in the round robins and then the finals. So Bruce Cordy out of Saskatoon, Canadian Senior Men's Curling Champion. There you go.
Okay, that is your clutch performers. I know Curtis probably didn't have one prepared, or he does have one prepared. Okay, but you know what? I will make Curtis my second clutch performer because he lets me give him a hard time.
Curtis or Colson? Sorry, didn't know which one you want to go with.
Sorry, buddy. Oh, is that booze now?
Wow.
It's okay.
It's all right.
By the way, feel free to join in the conversation anytime if you would like to reach out via text. Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262 if you have anything to add to the conversation, or maybe you want to jump in and offer a question for one of our guests, because that is where we're headed next. Western Pizza Guest Hotline. It's the pizza that's known worldwide for a reason. And, of course, gift cards for Western Pizza make awesome Christmas presents, great for work gift exchanges, and you should also look into their catering services at Western Pizza. And joining us now on the hotline, Gordon West, FC Regina Marketing Coordinator. Well, hey, Gordon, thanks for doing this.
Hi, no problem. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Of course, I understand that you folks have been busy coming fresh off Agribition, so you guys were kind of out of Real District for a little bit, but now you're back in and full force?
Yeah, so now we have back to our youth and adult programming. So we have our youth leagues and our adult leagues running in the evenings and on the weekends. And we have actually a tournament coming up this weekend, our FCR Cup, and then rolling into the Christmas break with more engaging registrations and things for our members coming up in the January.
So 1 week left to register, I see, as well, for the FC Regina Winterfest Youth Tournament. So tell me a little bit about that. That brings in a lot of folks.
Yeah, so the FCR Regina Winterfest Tournament is one that we do with our quarterfield. So mostly we have play on quarterfield action. So we get about 100 teams that register and come to town for that one. And that tournament actually goes January 14th to 18th. The tournament coming up, our FCR Cup, that's coming up this weekend. That tournament's a half field mostly, so that actually engages all of our Div 1 premier players. And that tournament happens this weekend with teams coming from all across, mostly from across Saskatchewan and a few from Manitoba as well.
So our question right now, Gordon, on sportscage.com, it's a very simple one, but I feel like this is one that you would appreciate. How excited are you for the 2026 FIFA World Cup?
Well, it's a very exciting time in Canada for the sport of soccer, very big for the World Cup to be in our country, and very huge for the athletes that compete at that level to come and play in front of Canadians. I know a lot of our members are very excited. We're looking at the opportunities for our athletes to get down there, to participate in camps and things like that. So we're very excited to do that. We also have some watch parties that we're planning for FIFA events and the Canada games, so we'll have some more information coming out that. But our soccer community is very exciting for that opportunity to host the World Cup in Canada and to watch the best Canadian athletes perform at that level.
I know that in 1986, in marching to Mexico, soccer in our province saw a huge influx when Canada qualified for the World Cup. And then I guess it would have been just 4 years ago that Canada also got back into this World Cup premier event. What does this mean for soccer and engagement in grassroots?
I think it's huge. I know for me, I was 9 years old in 1986. So I know at that point when I was that age, watching Canada play, I was actually in England at the time with my family over there. Watching Canada compete at that kind of a level of a tournament really sparked soccer. I know in BC where I grew up, it really sparked soccer kind of in that area. And I think it kind of get it across the nation. And I think you really saw with the national team qualifying for the last World Cup, and really also, the women's team also doing a very good job winning World Cup Olympic titles and competing at that level. I think you've really seen the level of soccer in Canada improve, and therefore I think you've really seen the soccer and the grassroots grow. Soccer is really competing in Canada. It's the one sport that all kids are playing these days, indoor and outdoor. So.
What does the Affinity Plex mean to FC Regina? Because I'll admit it, right? When you're talking about 100 teams participating in a tournament, that absolutely blows my mind. But, being in and around the Cooperator Center Mosaic Stadium, you can see how much that facility gets used. How much, maybe for someone unfamiliar, is the usage of that facility, and what does it mean to our city and even our province?
I think it's huge. We only have a handful of soccer centers in Saskatchewan, especially a whole bunch of full field facilities that can do full field activities. So for our club to be able to have a facility that is huge. Otherwise I don't know how we would run programming in the winter, especially competing in some of the tournaments we go to, Edmonton, Winnipeg, competing in some of the best clubs nationally that we try to have our athletes compete against. Without this space, I don't know how we would be able to do that training. Soccer, when I grew up, was played in gymnasiums and hard courts. It's really progressed now into field turf and that kind of a forum for the kids to play. So, I think having the facility we have is huge, and we need more facilities like this in Regina. At the end of the day, soccer is not the only sport that's looking for facilities like this, but, we have the capacity to have more athletes registering. So, for us, looking to have more field time and finding partners to get more turf space is something we're definitely looking into.
I don't know how to ask this question, but I'll just kind of throw it out there. Gordon West, the FC Regina marketing director. When you talk about professional soccer in our country, it is growing. We saw what happened in Vancouver this past weekend with the MLS Cup and playing Miami and the excitement that was sparked and created there. We've seen the successes in Calgary with the new women's league that started this past year. Do you think there ever is going to be an appetite or an ability to attract a professional game to our province? And what might that mean for grassroots soccer and the continued growth of the sport in our province?
I really think that with the new Canadian Premier League that's come into Canada, I really think there's an opportunity there for hopefully eventually for us to be able to have a team like that in Saskatchewan. We do have Mosaic Stadium, which is an excellent place to be able to at least start the process of having a pro team here. And I think it was really big for grassroots soccer in general. I went and watched a Canadian Premier League game in Calgary this year. I was at that home opener. It was a fantastic experience to be able to, have professional soccer in Canada. I've been to Whitecaps games before. So I think for grassroots soccer and for the province, it would be a huge thing, a huge get for us to be able to bring something like that in. It's a bit of a process. There's a bidding process within the CPL for teams, but hopefully our province at one point or another in the next few years, that's something that we could have some ownership definitely look into.
So Mosaic Stadium, obviously right now the CFL is talking about transforming their field and changing goalposts, so on and so forth. Would FC Regina have a conversation with Mosaic Stadium and the city of Regina when it comes to making sure there's an input to have a proper facility should an opportunity to either host a test event or a friendly, if you will, as opposed to maybe a full-blown awarding of a franchise? Is that conversation on between all parties involved to make sure that that facility is viable for soccer?
I know that us as a club, as far as FC Regina, we've definitely engaged the city to have conversations coming up, knowing that the turf is going to be replaced, to have those conversations about making it more compliant towards FIFA and Canada soccer rules. So we've definitely engaged the city, and we are in talks about having more conversations with them when they're a little bit further down their process about engaging people engaging the people that use the field as to what we may want to see come out of that. So we have engaged with the city about that, but they're in their process right now of deciding when that's going to be done. So we're in the list of people that's going to be definitely having those conversations moving forward.
So when you look at the World Cup coming to 2026 in Canada, of course, Toronto and Vancouver are the stops. Is there any downside at all for Canadian soccer that might lose momentum? For example, if Team Canada doesn't pick up at least one victory in the group stage, will that sway some of the momentum that is being built, or is this momentum just something that's going and isn't going to be stopped?
I'd really like to think that at the end of the day, it's a momentum that's going to keep going. I think, being able to bring all these professional athletes and countries that are high up on the FIFA rankings to Canada, to be able to have kids watch that, I think that's only going to further propel the sport. I know as an athlete and as a young man, being able to watch the World Cup and, being over at Europe at times where they were being hosted, it was a huge part of pushing me towards playing the game. So, yeah.
So with the World Cup draws last Friday, aside from everyone realizing Wayne Gretzky needs to brush up on his geography, what stood out to you?
Pardon me, can you repeat?
Sorry, I was laughing.
That's good.
That's okay. Yeah, no worries.
What stood out to you?
At the end of the day, I thought Canada's draw was actually going relatively well until Wayne picked the Pool A ball that had Italy in it. But, unfortunately, that's the way it goes sometimes. Switzerland's a decent team, but I definitely thought that's a team Canada could really compete with. Qatar, on the is another nation that's team is respectable, but at the end of the day, it was another good one. So at that point, when those two teams were on the board, it was looking pretty favorable for us. At the end of the day, now you have the possibility meeting number 12, FIFA ranking number 12, Italy, right? So we do need a little help, hopefully for Northern Ireland or Wales or Bosnia to hopefully help us out there. But if Italy is the team we face, then the Canada and the Canadian Olympic team have to come prepared.
I think it's really cool, going back to the start of the conversation, how you were mentioning that your organization of watch parties and different opportunities to get fans and players and athletes and I guess those that are engaged in our province, just allowing them to be a part of it. For someone who's attended an English Premiership game, I can't explain appropriately what that atmosphere is like. Could you try to explain what that is like?
The British soccer fan is a very passionate fan, and from my experience also being over there and seeing some games, it's a very different atmosphere to anything like I've been to in Canada. I even talked a little bit about the CPL, the CPL game I was at, with the chanting, and I guess there's just the way there's another bit of a camaraderie between football fans, that I say that as far as soccer fans goes. I was also a Canadian football player growing up, so Canadian football is another passion of mine, and obviously they have their passionate fans. But I don't know, when I've engaged with soccer fans inside of soccer stadiums, it just felt like another type of brotherhood to me that I maybe haven't experienced in other sports as a fan.
Yeah, again, it's just a different atmosphere, and it just doesn't seem to stop. You know what I mean? Like, it was my experience.
It's continuous.
Yeah.
Like, it goes for even at the CPL game they went for 2 hours. The chanting in the section I went at with people standing didn't stop for 2 hours. And it was like that at some of the other games I've been to in Vancouver, or even a couple of games I've been to over in England. At the end of the day, I don't know, I've been to football games, I've been to basketball games, I've been to baseball games across North America. When you get into that kind of an environment, like you go into those professional leagues, especially over in Europe and stuff like that, it's just a different thing that I've experienced anywhere else.
I'd agree.
Do they sell cough drops at the concessions? Because 2 hours of solid screaming sounds like a lot.
Yeah, I've lost my voice. Yeah.
See,
it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
The one question I always got asked is, how do you know what they're chanting? Oh, or you learn pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, and they're very loud and passionate. And a lot of the people that you sit around, at least the games I've been at, they teach you the words so that you can kind of fit in and kind of chant along after a while. So.
See, I thought they were teaching me the words, but I realized they were different words. Anyways, that was a long story.
Yeah, fair enough.
Can you tell me about the programming that's available right now? You mentioned some of the tournaments and some of the things that are going on. So someone like me that's new to Regina that wants to get involved, whether it be at the youth level or even all the way up to the adult level, again, like I say, when I'm walking by the Affinity Plex, someone is always seemingly out on that field.
Yeah, so we have our adult league running right now that has open registration. That league runs, we have everywhere from men's 1 to men's 7 leagues, women's 1 to a community league, and we also have co-ed leagues 1 through 7. And those leagues allow all of our adult members to play soccer. Registration is a little bit more open in that one. As we try to bring adult players in and out, there's a bit more space in those leagues. In our youth leagues, we are full for our indoor registration at this time, but our outdoor registration will be opening at the end of January of 2026, so keep an eye on that. We also have our Goalkeeper University Varsity ID camp that I help work on. That's happening January 2nd to 4th. We'll have Paulo Ceccarelli, who's Canada's national goalkeeper coach here, with another Mike Gerard from the Vancouver Whitecaps will be here, and we'll have 4 other U sports level coaches that are goalkeeper coaches that'll be here working with the athletes too. So we normally get about 35 to 50 goalkeepers from across the province that come and come to that event, and it'll be our second annual one.
And we can still register for that?
The registration for that camp is still open. Yeah, that camp is open until towards the end of December. And then our outdoor registration for our outdoor season, which starts at the end of April, that will open at the end of January of next year.
You moved back into the Affinity Plex late last week. The building was nice and aired out for you after exhibition?
Well, it's never really aired out after exhibition. So, no, it was still smelling a little bit farmy, but, I think everybody's kind of used to it. So,
if you needed fresh fertilizer for the field turf, you could have found it quickly.
Yeah, exactly. And, we are lucky there's a couple of bay doors, so, got to open those there and air out a little bit if it's a little bit too too smelly inside. But it's been pretty good this year, so Real's done a good job.
Well, good. Happy to hear that you guys are back at it. You got a couple of, the Cup and then the tournament coming up in winter. So, yeah, you guys are absolutely busy. What's your website again, just in case folks want to go check out more?
Yeah, www.fcregina.com. You can go on our website. You can look at our adult and our youth programming and all of our camps and other pertinent information at our website.
Oh, fantastic. Gordon West, FC Regina marketing coordinator. Really appreciate the time. I know you have to go coach right away here, so
yeah,
appreciate you.
I coach the goalkeepers and the goalkeeper academies for a high performance academy, so I'm off to do that next. But thank you very much for having me on, and I look hopefully forward to talking to you guys again sometime.
That'd be lovely. Thanks so much, Gordon West.
Thanks very much. Have a good night.
Take care.
Thank you.
Again, joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. I might need to take up soccer.
Not
Sounds
a bad
like
sport.
Fun. I'm not coordinated, though. That's the problem.
No. You don't have to have, actually, it builds coordination.
Does it?
Absolutely. There's a ton of hockey players, especially European hockey players that would play soccer.
Okay.
For the hand-eye coordination. Yeah.
I don't know if there's any level of soccer that will help me at this point, but I'd be willing to give it a try. I think we do have to take a quick break here. Sports Ticker next? We'll do that. Okay. We'll be back in just a couple of moments here. This is the Sports Cage on the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. Combined with a LiftMaster opener, it's the right choice. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. And a LiftMaster opener. 100% made by Canadians for Canadians. Steady, tariff-free pricing and great quality, no matter what.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Get it hot and get it fast, Western Pizza.
You hear those jingle bells? That means the holiday season is on its way. So it's time to start planning your work or family holiday parties. Leave the cooking to Western Pizza and enjoy all your Western Pizza favorites this holiday season. Call your local Western Pizza about catering or hosting your holiday get-together today. Western Pizza gift cards, saving holiday gift exchanges since 1976.
And get it hot and get it fast, Western Pizza.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sports, Regina's locally owned one-stop hockey shop. Now with a price match guarantee. 1425 McIntyre Street.
In total, you got 5 games on the schedule for the NHL tonight, including 2 Canadian teams that are going to be taking to the ice. So in the first one, you have the Toronto Maple Leafs hosting the Tampa Bay Lightning. That puck drops at 6:30. And then at 8 p.m., which is way past my bedtime, or I should be saying Dave's bedtime. He does morning sports.
Aye, whatever.
Now, so you're going to stay up and you're going to watch the Sabres and Flames?
No, but I'll probably stay up and watch the Canucks.
Okay. I can see
like
that.
Torture, apparently.
Yeah, because that is actually the 3rd Canadian team on the ice. I don't know how I missed that earlier, but yeah, Red Wings, Canucks, 9 o'clock.
Yep.
That is a late one. You got a nap in, you're probably fine.
I'm good.
Week 14, NFL. Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Chargers on the road. The Jets have been announced as hosts for the outdoor 2026 Heritage Classic. Just made that announcement today, so this will be the Jets and Canadiens, or Habs, October of next year. 8 Heritage Classic, and first one since 2023, so it's been a hot second here. And then Canada announced 27 players for the World Junior Training Camp roster, led by NHL prospect Gavin McKenna. So 6 returning players from that 2025 squad will be making their way back, including Macklin, Saskatchewan's own Cole Reshny. So he's on that list.
He is too, yes.
And then the assistant coach is from Humboldt,
Brad
Saskatchewan.
Lauer. Yes.
Brad Lauer. Weyburn has been awarded as the host city for the 2028 Saskatchewan Summer Games. 13 sports will be featured. And you mentioned there was a new one. Rowing,
yeah. I'm not sure. I'd like to know what rowing is returning to the Saskatchewan Summer Games. So I've got this picture. They're going up and down the mighty Souris River in Weyburn. I could be completely wrong, and it's a windy course. So that'd be tough.
How do you gain speed?
You hope for the best,
and you also hope for not a dry spring.
No, that's right.
In 2028, because historically it's been a bit of a crapshoot. You never know what you're going to get.
No. That's true. Maybe they held it at Nickel Lake. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Nickel
guess.
Lake's an option. Could go to main prize.
I mean, the good news is they have a couple of years to plan this thing.
That's right. They do.
It will be Weyburn's first time, pride and joy of Weyburn, Saskatchewan. Mr. Dave Thomas here to my left, by the way. It'll be their first time hosting since 2004. So it's been a hot second for them, and I'm sure that they'll appreciate that economic boost that'll be coming to the city. Sportscage.com poll. How excited are you for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, Dave?
I'll be following Canada for sure.
Yeah.
And then probably in the last stages, like when you get down to the semifinal, final, I'll probably go. I'm sorry, I'm not planning for Canada to be there, but it is what it is.
Anything can happen.
I know. Canada's injured. They've got a tough pool, and there's going to be a lot of expectation. I really hope Canada wins a World Cup game this time around. That is my goal. And I know like people are, those are really lofty goals, Dave. You wanted a goal 4 years ago, and now you want to win. But yeah, like, again, the program continues to take step forwards as it was pretty stagnant from 86 up to 2022. So,
but it's hard. Like, it's hard to get to that point in soccer or football.
Well, yeah, it is, right? And because Canadians for the longest time didn't have anywhere to play. And I'm not talking about stadiums. I'm not talking about any of the infrastructure. I'm just talking that now there's MLS, right? Now there's the new women's league that is taking off. And again, Canada has fared quite well in the women's program for not having that opportunity for women's to take the next step, right? And youth sports, I don't know why youth sports keeps getting overlooked, but youth sports, it's such a huge development opportunity. So I don't know.
But Canada's in it.
Canada is in it. You can't take that away.
And if you want to join the conversation, by the way, you can do that on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. Whatever you need to get the job done, you can rent it from Prairie Land Rentals because they probably have it. Also, an official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer. Deal with the owner, 600 Albert Street. Again, that Prairie Land Rentals text line, 306-936-6262. Maybe you have a question for our next guest. Darian Durant is going to be swinging by. And then on the other side of 5:30, we'll have Pats chat with head coach Brad Herauf. You're going to want to hang tight for that. But in the meantime, we are going to take a quick break. This is the Sports Cage on the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
Stay in the know about what's happening in Regina. Get the latest news and events delivered right to your inbox with the Regina Today newsletter. Whether you're looking for local happenings, must-visit spots, or the latest in local news, we've got you covered. Sign up today and get Regina's best stories all in one place. Text news to 306-936-6262, and we'll send the link right to your phone. It's free, it's easy, and it's all about Regina. Sign up for the Regina Today newsletter from sasktoday.ca.
Getting in on more of the sports action you want is as easy as playing at sportselect.com. Simply make your picks online, generate your QR code, and lock in your bet at your local lotto spot retailer. Then sit back, watch the game, grip your chair, and high-five anyone nearby. Every bet is 100% legal with the chance of winning cash in hand. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. Must be 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
If your garage door is running a little rough, you don't need to be talked into something that you don't need.
Sir, what you need is the new gigantic-esque, voluminous, astronomical, ginormous, gargantuan, exquisite air garage.
Just call Busy Bee Doors, the local experts who have been in business for many, many doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door.
Wait. With me, you get a little garage door keychain, please.
Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
620 CKRM, a Harvard media station, broadcasting from Regina, around the world at 620CKRM.com.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Corey Atkinson from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM news for Echo Sound and for Qu'Appelle. Stay connected with the new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. Environment Canada has issued a yellow winter storm watch as a low-pressure system moves from Alberta into Saskatchewan tomorrow morning through early Wednesday. The system may bring a large band of freezing rain from west of Kindersley through Moose Jaw to southeast of Estevan. Strong winds are expected in the southeast tomorrow evening. Roadways and walkways may become very slippery, and travel delays are possible. The City of Regina says a new food and yard waste facility will be built east of Regina through an 8-year partnership with Oasis Organic Limited on Cowes First Nation land. City Director Carolyn Kaleem says Oasis Organic will build and run the facility, while the city pays a fee for waste from its Green Cart program.
Through this partnership, as well as the food and yard waste program itself, the city has taken a tangible step towards incorporating Indigenous teachings and treaty principles into our everyday work.
Regina dropped an earlier plan in Edenwald after ending a contract in 2025. The new site is expected to divert 65% of waste now dropped off at the landfill. NDP health critic Mira Conway warned today that Premier Scott Moe may copy Alberta Premier Danielle Smith's healthcare changes and demanded Moe reject further privatization by late this afternoon. Conway said Smith's plan lets doctors build a public system and charge user fees, which she believes breaks the Canada Health Act.
Right now, that is prohibited in order to maintain the Canada Health Act. So Danielle Smith has said she will take that away so that physicians can essentially double dip. So we're very concerned about this. We think it represents a crucial erosion of public health care.
In question period last Tuesday, Moe said his government will use every tool to improve care and noted 188,000 privately delivered but publicly funded surgeries have reduced wait times. And the provincial legislature wrapped up the fall sitting on Friday. One of the biggest topics of conversation through the session was the impact of tariffs from the U.S. More from Sask Today's John Cairns.
Tariff and trade issues loomed large during the legislature sitting that wrapped up last week. Premier Scott Moe acknowledged the uncertain trade situation was having an impact, especially on the budget. Moe pointed to their efforts to lift tariffs coming from their 3 largest markets, the USA, China, and India.
Those discussions, we're supporting our federal government in finding our way through all of those trade negotiations so that we can reduce or eliminate the tariffs in each of those markets.
There was also heightened concern last week that President Donald Trump could pull out of the USMCA. But Moe once again pointed to the improved tone of relations with the federal government and said they are working with them to create the most stable environment they can in an unstable global trading environment. For SAS Today, I'm John Cairns.
That was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
This holiday season, in the red corner, weighing in at jolly and unstoppable, it's Santa Claus.
Santa's laying the smackdown on slow internet and bad cell coverage. Because at Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer, the deals are off the ropes. Get the latest cell phone, SaskTel MaxStream, and lightning fast internet that'll make your holidays legendary. So tag in the pros at Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Qu'Appelle. EchoSound.ca.
Weather brought to you by Linex Regina. Serious Protection Killer Looks, 1865 McCarra Street, as well as Croft Electric. 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service for all electrical needs. CroftElectric.com and all socials.
Winter storm watches have been posted for much of the region. We're not going to be getting a lot of the heavy snow, but we are going to be getting some of the freezing rain as snow produces 2 to 4 centimeters, then changes over to some freezing rain and freezing drizzle toward morning. That could create some rather slick conditions starting out the day on Tuesday. Temperatures will hover right around the freezing mark as the heaviest precipitation comes down. It'll then change back over to snow before coming to an end. Temperature around 0 again in the morning, dropping back slowly through the day, then much more quickly into the evening. The wind will be quite strong too. Some flurries Tuesday night. We drop off all the way to minus 18. Cloud and sunshine mixed on Wednesday with a high near minus 12. Partly sunny, chance for a few more flurries, maybe some light accumulating snow as well on Thursday as temperatures will hold steady and then drop back to minus 16 through the day. And we are cold on Friday, sunshine minus 24. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm precision weather meteorologist Phil Spivak.
For 40 years, the team from LeBlanc Regina has been protecting vehicles across Saskatchewan, and we're changing with the times. 3 generations of our family have protected your vehicles. Our business has evolved, and we're not stopping now. The next generation is here. Same family, same commitment, ready for the next generation of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards in all kinds of colors. LeBlanc Regina, 1865 McCarra Street, the next generation of protective coatings.
Dan at Croft Electric explains the 3 levels of electric service they typically supply to customers.
Number 1, you need to do it now. There's something really bad that we need to fix. Number 2, this should get fixed soon, but it doesn't, it's not an immediate emergency. And, number 3 is the nice to have, should be done eventually kind of stuff.
For reliable, professional electrical work for your farm, see Croft Electric.
Do it right, do it once.
CroftElectric.com.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Kellen Solar, installing solar in residential and commercial buildings for 35 years. Local and trusted. Kellen Solar. Visit kellensolar.com. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Taking the time, spending it with us on your Monday afternoon. This is The Sports Cage. I'm your Monday host, Teagan Whitco. I'm joined alongside voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Dave Thomas is to my left, and then we have Curtis, the producer, over to my right. Now, if you wanted to join in the conversation at any point, please feel free to reach out on the Prairie Land Rentals text line at 306-936-6262. And maybe you have a question for our next guest who is standing by on the Western Pizza guest hotline, Mr. Darian Durant.
It's time for Double Talk with Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Darian Durant. Double Talk is brought to you by Campbell Safety Consulting. At Campbell Safety Consulting, we work towards helping companies create a competitive edge by executing a proactive health and safety program.
Double Talk with Darian Durant. Thanks for taking the time, man. Appreciate it. And you know what? I'm going to be the first one. I'll be the first one to say it. You called it, Darian. You said Trevor Harris was coming back to the green and white, and he did, signing last week with what is allegedly a team-friendly contract. What do you think that says about this group?
They're committed to winning. And, I look at it. I've always said, man, sometimes it's better to stay in a place where you're comfortable, stay in a place where you're winning. Your surroundings. It's better to take less than to go to an unknown situation. And if you lose in that unknown situation, your career could be shortened. So I'm a big advocate for guys to stick together, try to win as many championships as you can, especially if you've shown that you have the team to do it. If you can keep the nucleus together, if everybody can take a small pay cut, you'll make enough money in the playoffs and in that Grey Cup game to more than suffice for what you'll make going somewhere else. So I think it's a great job of Trevor, taking a little bit less, try to get some of these other guys signed and keeping this nucleus together.
We had Wes Cates on not too long ago getting his thoughts on this, but now that you've locked in both Tommy Stevens, your short yardage specialist, and your starting quarterback, what is your next top priority? Is it the O-line for protection? Is it the receiving core? What would you say if you were in that decision-making seat?
Well, I'd start with the secondary and make sure Tavon Campbell is signed. I mean, the guy tied for the league in interceptions. He's shown that he still has a lot of juice left. I think that if a guy can run a 4.3 in his 20s, he can run a 4.4 in his 30s. So he's still showing that he can move. So I look at the secondary and keeping those guys together. Roland Milligan, getting those guys and that back end. It's so important to have that continuity back there. So I'd start with the DBs, and then I go to the receivers and look at this Canadian, the depth, get that back intact with Emulis and Schaefer Baker. So I definitely go to the skill positions. I feel like, at O-line, even though we had some guys up and Big Yosh won the Offensive Lineman of the Year award, I think that, once you get those skill position players locked in, then you'll know exactly what you're working with to tie up those front guys.
Okay, just to back up for a half a second, Darian, when it came to the discount or the hometown deal or whatever you want to call it, when it comes to the number that's attached to Trevor Harris's contract, is it a point of pride to be asked, hey, would you mind taking a little less just so that we can go ahead and sign up guys? Because I'd assume it's a fine line between a point of pride to being a slap in the face.
You know what? At this stage in his career, I think Trevor can look at all the guys before him, right? All the veterans. You know, you could go back 20 years ago, and it's all about being in a situation that's best for you. He's played a long time. He's been a starter in this league a long time, so I'm sure he's made a lot of money. And at this point, it's about him staying healthy, being in an offense that he knows, where he can pull the trigger when he needs to, and having the guys around him. He's built such good chemistry with these receivers. So you know, I don't think he looks at it as a negative. I think that if anything, he knows that if he's going to win another championship, it's right there in Saskatchewan with the guys he just won it with. So I wouldn't look at it as a negative at all. I look at it as, look, man, it's about keeping the pieces in play and making sure all the guys are together while you make another run at it.
So you had amazing chemistry, right, with Getzlaff and Bagg and Dressler, and again, the list goes on. Fantouz, I can't believe I didn't say Andy Fantouz, but are you then, as kind of a collective group then, talking about how can we make sure that this stays together and that we can keep this ball rolling?
No question. No question. That's definitely what you have to do. I mean, it's all about winning at this point. And like I said, Trevor's played a long time, so why not default some of that salary to these younger guys who may be entering their first opportunity to get a big deal that could be life-changing for them? I mean, he's in his 14th year, I think, and you know, he can definitely. And I don't like to count any man's pockets. That's not what we do as players. But I feel like at this stage in his career, he's in a position where he can make sure the guys around him can get financially secure and make sure this team is together.
A lot of talk this week about potentially Dante Myers has been working out for some NFL teams. You'd have to think that Keyshawn Johnson is going to get the same opportunity should he choose to go that route. When you, in your experience, have had guys that have gone down pursuing an NFL opportunity, does that change the player that they are, whether they come back or not, perhaps? Because we've got a saying in hockey, right? When you go up and you play at that next level, one of two things are going to happen. Number one, you're going to realize that I can be here and I'm going to be motivated to get here. Or the other thing that can happen is I'm never going to get there and that's it.
I mean, it just depends on the mentality of these guys. I think it's always good to know in the back of your head that if it doesn't work out down south, that you always have a home or you have an opportunity to play for any of the teams up in Canada. So I think that's a plus. But you know what? It just depends on the guy. It depends on what his goals are, what his dreams are. Some guys, their ultimate dream is to play at the highest level, and they'll do any and everything they can. They'll exhaust every option they have to make sure that happens. So it really just depends on those guys. But I see probably those guys giving it a shot, but I see at least one of them being able to come back and making another run with the Riders.
Andy Fantouz back in the day had that opportunity with Chicago, and it seemed different when he came back. Wes was telling us last hour, he said, you know what, he came back and he was banged up, had a new playbook, then he wanted to go back home and play, and that was kind of what changed him. Did you see that in Andy Fantouz at all?
You know what? I think so. Looking back, I think I did see a little bit of change in him. And you have to understand, it's a totally different game. I mean, especially for a slot receiver, you know, when you go down south, now you don't have the waggle. You can't take advantage of the pre-snap things like you could down there. And you can kind of get caught up in playing a different ball game. And it did seem that way when he got back. But, you know, you understand why, because you have to learn so much in order to make it down there. You may lose an edge of what it took to be successful with the waggle in Canada. So I definitely could see that happening.
Before we reveal the answer to you, do you want to take a guess at what his 50 time or his 40 time was when he when he did out of the combine? You want to take? I went 4.7. I went 4.6, right?
I went 4.5.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's my guy, and I don't want to be disrespectful.
No. Wes Cates went 4.75.
Wes said 4.75. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I hope Andy doesn't hear that. Oh man, I would go high 4.6s, 4.68, 4.69, something like that.
Curtis, do you want to reveal the answer? Oh, just a sec. He's got to change
his headset.
Yeah. This is.
I got to change the headset. So when he was coming from the Western Mustangs, he ran a 5-second flat.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't have believed it either. Never in a million years.
I asked Andy about that. I'm going to call him tonight.
But Wes said right away, though, he goes, okay, so fine, that might have been the time, but you would never guess that he would play at that speed, right?
Yeah.
Just because of what he could do with his body.
Never, never. I mean, there's no way anybody in this world can play and have success with a 5 flat 40 and play the game at that same speed. It's not happening, especially at receiver. So, yeah, it's totally different for him.
So maybe he had like a stone in his shoe or something, probably, right?
Wrong cleats? I don't know. Something.
Man, sometimes these guys, I mean, when you're running a 40, you come out of a 3-point stance, right? So usually as a receiver, I mean, you're never putting your hand on the ground trying to run and be explosive and run as fast as you can. So a lot of the 40 is about technique, and if that's something that you're not used to, then it's hard to get down. So I wouldn't put much on that at all.
What was your best 40?
My best 40 was 4.61. And that was young doubles, right? 21, 22 years old. By the time I got to the CFL, I may have been at a 5 flat.
No, come on.
Not buying that.
Just kidding.
Not buying that.
Yeah.
Tell me about in the CFL. So Keon Hatcher has signed the league's leading receiver, is going to stay in BC, and he's maintaining the relationship that he has with Nathan Rourke. Do we see that more and more in today's professional game in the CFL with guys trying to maintain the relationships they have as opposed to maybe searching for that big payday?
I think you'll see that more and more for sure. I mean, that's your key to success, is being with the guy who gave you success in the first place. And, unless you're a Kenny Lawler or you're just one of these all-world receivers that can just do what you do any place you go, I think it's best if you just stick with your quarterback, stick with the relationship and chemistry that you guys have developed. And if you do that and you have success, then everyone gets paid. Everyone gets to reap the rewards of that. So you'll see that more and more. Chemistry is so underrated. I think from the outside looking in, a lot of people don't understand how important it is. And once you've built that in live game situations, you better stay in place, because speaking from someone who's been to another team and has had to develop relationships with other receivers after being with a certain group of receivers for a long time, is so hard to do. So I would advise anyone to stay where you are, take less money for the time being, and if you're winning, everyone gets paid.
See, that's the Madden mentality, though, right? Because when you're doing the fantasy GM and playing the video game or whatever, right? You look at their number. Okay, this is what the numbers they're going to bring. This is how they're going to interject. I go to 2013 with you, Darian, and G. Roy Simon comes in. Again, Hall of Famer. You know what he brings to the table. Was the chemistry there instantaneously, or did you have to work at it?
We had to work at it. I mean, we had, I'm not sure if I connected with G-Roy. I would have to go back and look, but I don't think I threw a regular season touchdown pass to G-Roy. No. I think we finally connected in the Grey Cup. So it takes so much time to build chemistry. I've been working with Dress and Getty and Bag and Andy for so long. I just know these guys inside out. I know what they're going to do. I know how they break their routes off. But with G-Roy, of course, I see him on film, but it's different when you're actually out there on the field and you're trying to develop that chemistry. So it takes time, and it showed during the 2013 season. I mean, we really didn't connect it to the Grey Cup.
And at times during that year, I don't want to say it didn't look awkward. That's far be it, but it just looked like there was so much rapport that was being built, right? It's like you go to school with the same handful of kids all of your life, right, in the receiving corps that you mentioned, and then all of a sudden a new kid moves in from a new school and you have to go ahead and sometime and find a way to interject and insert him in. Is that accurate? I don't know if that's accurate.
Yeah. No, I get the analogy, trust me. But, and it was hard for him being such a productive receiver in BC, right? Coming in, knowing that Dress was already there, Getty was there, Bag was there, guys who already were, the top options on the team. So it was definitely hard. I'm sure he didn't voice it. Man, G-Roy was just a consummate pro, and didn't complain, didn't say anything. And you would believe that he had 1,000 yards as well, the way he carried himself in the locker room. So, I mean, for him to basically just sit back and try to get in where he fit in and not try to cause a scene, and just be available when his number was called. I mean, that's just amazing for a guy that's accomplished as much as he has, to go to another team and just take the back seat. That's really unheard of. So kudos to G-Roy, man. That was, I had a lot of pride as a player, and it was very hard for me to take a back seat towards the end of my career. So for him to do that, man, it was just special.
So how does that championship pedigree, right? We hear that, right? So you want to surround yourself with champion. You look at the 2025 Saskatchewan Roughriders. They go ahead and they bring in players that have had success and have won championships. In 2013, again, you bring in G. Roy Simon, maybe for that same reason. Does that really have that big of an effect?
Absolutely. You want guys who don't get rattled. I mean, no matter the situation. I mean, you look in the Grey Cup, the team didn't fold. Montreal was driving, going down to score a couple different times, and the defense came up with big plays. You see Teagan Campbell with the strip on the goal line on a quarterback sneak. I mean, just little things like that is what you mean by that championship pedigree. So you want guys who have been there, done that. They understand the game is not too big for them, and they show up in clutch situations. So it's definitely a thing, and those are the guys you want to play with for sure.
Darian, it's no secret that the CFL maybe is stuck in the past a little bit in certain areas of the game, pardon me, or the league. I mean, I'm not throwing Stuart Johnston under the bus here or anything, but I mean, next year we're finally getting an app for the league, and it's 2026. One of the things that he has addressed, however, is getting the schedule out early, and it gets released tomorrow. So for fans, that's huge, especially in Rider Nation. People like to, people plan their lives around the CFL schedule, but the team does have that additional home game. It's a Toronto Argonauts home game, but it will be hosted at Mosaic Stadium. Then they're also doing a preseason game in Saskatoon. So advantage or distractions?
No, I think it's good. Get the schedule out. Allow the fans to plan around. You have a year in advance pretty much, and give them a chance to just give the league a chance to get these stadiums full across the country. I mean, especially on the East Coast. You want to see Toronto and Montreal and all these other teams. You want to see them reach their potential when it comes to their revenue and their fan bases. So I love the idea of getting it out early. Let fans pick out a game that they feel will be very important for them to attend. And, a guy like me, I can plan myself to come up early as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the schedule holds and seeing 3 matches unfold. And guys will be fired up about it. I mean, especially teams that felt like they could have been in the Grey Cup or should have been in the Grey Cup. Now they get a chance early on in the season to see the team that put them away.
They are starting the season a week earlier. I know you're a cold weather football guy. How do you feel about that?
I mean, if you're going to go to these outdoor Grey Cups and you're not going to play indoors and weather may be a factor, then I think you want to start the season a little bit earlier. You want to make sure that even though it's Canada, you don't want a game as big as the Grey Cup where the whole world and part of the states as well will be watching. You don't want weather to be an issue. So I like the idea. And even though football is a cold weather game to me, I think in October, November, you'll still feel some remnants of what that cold outdoor football, back old school football is about. And you'll still get that. So I like the idea of it starting a week early.
Do you as a player take a look at what the season is going to be like and try to start processing again, right? You take care of your body. You were prideful in taking care of your body and ensuring that you were hitting your prime and peak on game day, whether that was mentally or physically. Did you start looking ahead and analyzing, okay, we got a real short week this week, so I got to make sure I do this, and then, here's a long week, anything like that? Or does that just take it as it comes during the season?
A little bit of both. I think you have to prepare for whatever the schedule is and, how the schedule makers, how they constructed the season. You have to be prepared for that. And at the same time, you look at it, you see if you have some games that you feel like you can win early. You kind of put the pressure on yourself and say, okay, well, we have, and this is no disrespect to these teams, but you say, okay, we play Ottawa and Toronto early. We have to make sure we get those games so that when we get into the western part, if you have a heavy, western back end of the schedule, then you want to make sure you take care of those games on the front end. So you have to look at it and dissect it and make sure that you're aware of every. We like to break it down into quarters. You're aware of every quarter of the season and what you need to do and how you feel like worst case scenario your record should be when you come out of each quarter.
Okay, so do you remember at all or any point in your career, because before the CFL went to adding bye weeks, which I think has been great for the product on the field and the health of the athletes off of it, in my humble opinion, which could be wrong. But back in the day, do you remember there was a time where you could play a Thursday game in Hamilton and then a Monday in Toronto? Do you remember those days? Were you ever a part of any funky scheduling like that?
Absolutely. We had a 4-day break on a East Coast swing where we weren't even able to come back to Saskatchewan. We had to stay out east. And, I don't think that's good. I think we had one bye week when I played, but I love it for the product on the field. Like you said, it makes sure guys are healthy. It makes sure you have to think of the business model as well, right? The CFL is only successful if its best players are healthy, if its best product is on the field each and every week. So you want to make sure you take care of guys. And I'm sure there'll be some short weeks for a lot of teams, but that's just a part of the game. But for the most part, the league does a great job in scheduling these buys at a good time and making sure the guys are rested or can heal up as quickly as possible to get the best product on the field.
Do the players have any input in the schedule? I don't know. I know. I would assume that not even the PA at a high level, no?
No, I think it's more so about the facilities and if there are any prior engagements at you look at BC Place and the schedule, the stadium out in Toronto, in these bigger cities, sometimes these stadiums have prior obligations, so you have to build the schedule around when the stadium is available. So I think that goes into comes into the picture more so than anything else. The players, we just see the schedule when it's released just like everyone else, and then we go from there.
Do you want to start at home in week 1, or do you want to be on the road?
I mean, if I'm the defending Grey Cup champ, I want to start at home. I mean, there's no reason for us to go on the road. But, if you haven't earned that right, then I think you just have to take what the league gives you. So for Saskatchewan and the only way I see Montreal going on the road is if it's a Grey Cup rematch. But other than that, I feel like the teams that finish the season the best and end up in the Grey Cup, they should definitely start the season at home.
We did get a message on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, and it sparked a good thought. Leonard was just saying how it doesn't feel like it's real. Doesn't feel like the Riders won the 2025 Grey Cup. When did it set in for you after the 2013 victory? Did it take all off season, or when was that wow moment?
Not at all. I mean, I guess the biggest difference was it was right there in Regina. So, yeah. I mean, everywhere you go, I mean, you look left and right, you're reminded of it. So, it may be I think it's surreal because of the past couple years and how the season has gone. The seasons have gone, the disappointment, dealing with the Chris Jones era, and then coming into Craig Dickinson, and then, the switch over to Corey Mason. It just seemed like it all happened so fast, right? So, I can definitely see where Leonard is coming from with that suggestion. But, it's real, man. And it's one of those moments that you guys can hold on to forever. And, I'm actually looking forward to next year. I think the Riders, if they can keep the pieces in place and keep the guys together, I think they can go back to back. So I'm really looking forward to next year. I wish it would start tomorrow.
Well, you were right about Trevor Harris, so I think we should clip that and give him all the credit when they run it back. No, real quick, I think we do have to get going pretty soon here, but I did just want to get your take on the NFL this past weekend. Any games that really stuck out to you? We don't need to go down the road of the Cowboys, and you definitely don't need to talk about the Bengals, but I just wanted to get your biggest takeaways.
Well, I think we see how strong the NFC North is. I think the Green Bay-Chicago game went down to the wire. Those are two of the better teams in the league. And then with Detroit beating up on my Cowboys, Detroit kept itself in the race. So the NFC North is strong. And I think, if they can get 3 teams in the playoffs, I think you better watch out because they're playing some good football right now.
This sounds bad for me to say it out loud, but it's kind of refreshing to not just see the Chiefs running away with their division for once.
Yeah, I think you get tired of seeing them win sometimes, right? It's kind of like that Brady effect. I mean, you love Tom Brady just like people love Mahomes, but at some point you want to see another king get crowned. So I think we'll see that this year with them struggling for sure.
Do you think the Chiefs window is closed?
I wouldn't say that. I think they started off slow. I mean, they had a lot of injuries early on. Rasheem Rice was coming back from the suspension of, when he got in trouble with the car accident. So I just think from the beginning their chemistry wasn't there. But look, if they don't make the playoffs, which they still have a chance to, you'll see Andy Reid and that front office go back and regroup and put the right pieces around Mahomes to make another run at it. So I don't think the window is closed. I just think that they're just having a bad year.
Well, Andy Reid took the brunt of that last night.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what good coaches do, right? They don't point the finger anywhere else, right? They take it right on the chin.
If I'm hearing Darian Durant correctly, I think that he's saying that Travis Kelce can just shake it off into next
Dave.
year.
Yeah, he could go ahead and ride off into the sunset, man. He's secure. He has the number one woman in the world, and why not just ride off? He had a great career, man. Hall of Fame tight end. So just go ahead and call it quits before you hurt yourself.
Yeah.
You think he's done? Really? I was kind of making.
I'm just saying what I would do. I'm saying what I would do. I mean, especially that you're with Taylor Swift. Like, just go and tour the world.
Yeah. Go have some fun. Take some time off. Damn, you've earned it.
Yep.
Hate watching Eagles and Chargers tonight, by chance?
Oh, yeah. I want to see if the Eagles can bounce back. I mean, everyone's talking about their struggles offensively. I'm a Jalen Hurts fan, and, I want to see him bounce back. So I'll definitely be tuned in.
Cool. All right. Doubles, I think we've got to let you go, but we appreciate the time as always. Always a good chat.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you. That was Darian Durant, of course, the one, the only in Double Talk with Darian Durant. It is brought to you by Campbell's Safety Consulting. Now, we are going to take a quick pause here. We'll take a breath. We do have Pats chat still ahead with Brad Herauf of the Regina Pats. So you're going to want to hang tight for that. This is the Monday edition of the Sports Cage, and it is brought to you by Kelton Solar. 35 years of experience moving water from a dugout or well without electricity. Visit keltonsolar.com or find out more for your livestock operations. Okay, taking that quick break. This is the Sports Cage on the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
Listen weekdays at noon for Saskatchewan Today on CKRM with your host, Ryan Young, offering the most extensive agricultural news coverage with precision weather meteorologists in an industry that moves fast. Stay updated with the latest, most reliable information in ag news, crisis and trends, all in one place. Available anytime at SaskAgToday.com. Saskatchewan Today, your trusted source for all things agriculture. Sponsored by Affinity Credit Union on 620 CKRM.
You've worked hard for years, but when you retire, do you know your options that truly fit you and your family? That's where Chad Reach, Senior Wealth Advisor, and the team at GP Financial Services and Aviso Wealth come in. They help you understand your choices, avoid costly mistakes, and build a retirement plan. Independent advice, local expertise. Before you make the next move, talk to Chad Reach, 306-584-2755.
Mutual funds and other securities are offered through Aviso Wealth, a division of Aviso Financial Inc.
It's home reno season, and with that Regina wind chill, you're better off renovating than relocating. Stay productive with a little help from Freeze Tallman. From drywall and molding to installation and interior doors, they've got everything you need to renovate your space. Freeze Tallman's delivery team can also deliver right to your home if you live in Regina, Fort Capel, or anywhere in southern Saskatchewan. Freeze Tallman's got you covered this reno season. Visit freezetallman.com or see them in Regina or Fort Capel. Freeze Tallman. Let's get you building.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steel Craft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
Yeah, we got your sports ticker. I'm Teagan Whitco, your Monday host of the Sports Cage, joined by Mr. Dave Thomas and, of course, Curtis, keeping us on the air and on the stream at sportscage.com and our YouTube as well. So 5 games on the slates for the NHL tonight, including 3 Canadian teams. Tampa Bay traveling to Toronto to take on the Maple Leafs, 6:30 puck drop. You got the Sabres in Calgary facing off with the Flames at 8 o'clock, and then 9 p.m. Red Wings are in Vancouver to take on the Canucks. Also worth noting that the Mammoth are on the ice. They are hosting the Kings, and it was officially announced earlier today, star forward Logan Cooley is out indefinitely after that terrifying looking collision with the net earlier in the week. NFL Week 14, you got the Eagles traveling to LA to face the Chargers in the Monday Nighter. And the Jets, the Winnipeg Jets, will be hosting the Canadians in the Outdoor 2026 Heritage Classic. First time since 2023. And then let me see here. World Junior Training Camp roster was also released today by Canada. 27 players, 6 of which will be returning from that 2025 squad, including Macklin, Saskatchewan's own Cole Reshney, who also cracked that list along with, Gavin McKenna, which I don't think is shocking to anybody. No, not shocking whatsoever. And Weyburn will be the host city for the 2028 Saskatchewan Summer Games. Sportscage.com poll, Dave. How excited are you for the 2026 FIFA World Cup?
I'll watch. I'm not going to lie. I'll watch. I'm excited.
Ole, 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 ole.
I don't chant or sing. No.
Oh.
No.
That's boring.
No, but I will pour a pint and raise a glass.
Okay, I can appreciate that. That was a look at your sports ticker for Steelcraft Doors. Now we do have our next guest standing by for Pat Chat.
Time now for Sportscage Pat Chat, powered by Southey Mainline Motors. The name you trust. Mainline Motors is now only 30 minutes from Regina. Amazing deals and award-winning service is now at your doorstep. SoutheyMainline.ca.
Joining us for our next installment of Pat's Chat. Sure appreciate the time. Brad Herauf, thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start off with a big bounce-back win for you and your team after a bit of a tough U.S. road swing, and then dropping that one on home last week. A big 4-0 shutout against the Blades, snapping that streak, or the skid, I should say. What adjustments did you guys make?
It's funny. We were pretty shorthanded. We were without our 2 top scorers into the game, and it's sometimes when you get rosters like that, your team kind of just goes in survival mode, we really had everyone just follow the game plan, do exactly what we needed to do to, slow down Saskatoon. And sometimes when you're shorthanded like that, it's funny how your team can react.
Sometimes you just need to be put in the pressure cooker a little bit, hey?
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of how we've been all season long. We always have really good third periods or don't start on time all the time, but yeah.
Well, former Warrior Matthew Hutchinson earned his first career WHL shutout. My God, shut out. It would be great if I could speak. It's been a long day, Brad. 32 saves for him. How did the team rally around him after that win? Because that's got to be a pretty special moment for him.
Yeah, it's equivalent to us getting a hat trick or 4 goals performance for players. Always things like that, and it was the first of his career. It's always fun to be around those moments, and the boys generally celebrate pretty good when stuff like that happens.
How does this win really shift the momentum in that locker room now? Because it's not easy going on that U.S. Division road trip. You don't see these teams often. You don't get the results that you want. You come in, you fight hard, you get the win. Now what does that mean looking ahead on the schedule before the Christmas break?
Well, I think that obviously we don't play for another 6 days. So practice is obviously a little lighter. The morale around the dress rooms obviously going to be a lot different than after a loss. But for us, obviously we were 0-6, but we really felt that the first 2 games of the road trip, we lost 2-1. We just ran into hot goaltending. Even on good days, Everett, Portland, Seattle, they're real tough places to play. So obviously we weren't not wanting to win or not wanting to lose, but those are always going to be tough things. The only game we really disappointed ourselves was probably the Wenatchee game, the last game of the road trip. Obviously we lost that game. You never want to lose, but when you go back and you look at reasons you lost and go through the video, it usually tells you, if you're going down the right path or if you're way off and you got to change a lot of things.
I heard it got a little chippy down in the States too with some of the fans.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun playing down there, guys. It's, I wouldn't say old time hockey, but just the crowds are so into it. And they're always really packed. They have really good attendance. So it's definitely a different experience. Even in Seattle, man, that place is just, this makes me smile being there. It's such a cool environment. And it's something that, stressor that our kids don't always get in this conference. When the crowd's into it like that, or, they're cheering at every shot on net, and you feel like you're being overwhelmed more than you really are, and just because the crowd is reacting to everything that way. So, yeah, it was. I think we were trying to sell some tickets down there for them.
Coach, as you know, I'm old. And it was back in the day when I was around the league a lot more than I am now. It seemed like you get 12, maybe 13 days off after coming off your U.S. Division road trip. You didn't. You come back on Sunday, you're back on the ice Friday with 2 games in 3 nights. Was that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's for us, I think just because we were 0-6 on the road trip, it was a good thing that, we get back playing right away and don't have so much time off. It's kind of funny. We played like 8 games in 12 days, and now we have 4 games in 17 days. So, the schedule kind of goes that way sometimes. For us, it's probably not the worst thing because we've been pretty banged up here the last 6 weeks. So it's probably a good time for us to have a few days off here in between and have a little bit of lighter schedule, get some guys healthy and get back on lineup.
How do you coach during this time? Because obviously you're not going to go kicking garbage cans in dressing rooms each and every night if things aren't going your way. How do you maintain being positive with the group and still making sure that they are evolving and developing as a group going forward, despite the challenges you may have with the roster?
I think the big thing is just, teaching them habits of, treating the game like it's your job. And then holding them accountable to it. In the end, it's their career. They're the ones that got to step up and be a professional about your process in junior hockey. All these kids have been, in some capacity, been given, incredible talent when they're youthful, and then have great support from their parents, all the way up. But at some point now, when they're 16 to 17, 18 years old, to me, that's what, separates the Connor Bedards, the Sam Steeles, the Adam Brooks, the real good players we've had here in the past. Tanner Howes, those guys at 16, 17, they're acting like they're 22, 23 years old. They're not just showing up to the rink and putting their gear on. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that, makes their preparation, their performance.
How important, or how incredibly challenging, maybe is the word, to keep guys dialed in? Christmas is coming up. Obviously, with a young team, you've got a group that's excited to go home, see family, friends that they haven't seen in a few months.
You know what? That's a great question. And it's a reality. I think even us as adults, get focused towards vacation time when you still got a job to do. But, for our group, I think losing those games in the road trip, upset us a lot. We want to get some wins back. We feel that we should be better in the standings as a group. We've proved to ourselves that we can play with the best teams in this conference, and it's just about being consistent. A lot of it for us right now is a little bit of health. Having guys in and out of the lineup. We haven't had a full healthy team yet this year, or a full roster, but I think it's lent to a lot of great experience by our young guys, and a lot of APs that have stepped up and played lots of meaningful games that'll be huge for their development, later on this season and into next year.
When you and the rest of the hockey ops crew were looking at the roster and the construction this spring, whether it had been at the draft or throughout the summer, you obviously had an idea of what this roster could be and what this team might look like. Has that roster and that paper lived up to where you're at right now? Maybe not in terms of results, but in terms of the team that you want them to be?
I think that we're constantly working towards it. I think that, that's one thing that has been a little bit of struggle for us this year is, playing to our identity and keeping that consistency with it. I think when we do, we get results like we did last night. I think that we were getting there. And a lot of times it's, we've played our best hockey when we've had our shortest lineups. And I think that, sometimes when we get your good players back in there, it's kind of like everyone just sits back and it's like, okay, now they're here to take over. So for us, I think it's just about learning to win, learning how to, making sure our slides don't become longer than they need to. And for us, like we started off 1-6, and then we, went a little bit, won 2/3, 700% of our games at for about 15, and then we lost 6 in a row again. So there's definitely, we're somewhere in the middle between, those two things. We're not a 700 win team right now just yet, but we're also not a 1-6, 0-6 team. So for us, it's just about continue to keep with our belief in our group, and that's to me is the biggest thing, is that it's what the group thinks of themselves. I can tell them all they want, but really, the good teams, and for us as a team, because we taking a big step from last year with how many players we had last year, now this truly into our first year of kind of coming out of it, and with all our trades, and now we're trying to look to add some players, not subtract from our roster. So there's definitely been a learning curve with our group, but the expectation has grown immensely within that locker room, and to me, that's a huge sign, and a very positive sign.
So, Brad, we can see the C's and the A's on the jerseys. We know who some of the leaders on this team are, but maybe tell us a little bit about some of those players on the roster who maybe we wouldn't expect to be lifting up guys in the room and holding each other accountable.
Yeah, I think we got a couple of those guys. I think that's one thing about our group. We got a couple real good glue guys that don't necessarily have those letters right now. Jace Aglin comes to mind. He's just a blue collar farm kid from Saskatchewan here, but he's just an excellent teammate. Guys really enjoy to be around him, and he leads by example, and he's not scared to tell people to be better and help each other out. Dayton Champs is another guy on our team that he's a heartbeat guy for us. He's excellent in practice. Some days when it gets cold and we practice in the morning, there's long days, not much sleep. It's tough to have energy in practice. And Dayton Deschamps, I think, is one of those guys that ensures that everyone's on their toes and brings energy. Sometimes when it's hard to pull it out of our group.
You mentioned Jace Eglund by name. If I'm not mistaken, Brad, he was the teddy bear toss goal winner. He was the one that scored the first goal last season, and all of those teddy bears came raining down. Is that ever a conversation in the locker room before the games, or do you encourage them to put it out of their minds on big games like that?
Truthfully, I don't really talk about it. Myself, I think we talk more about like the process of, hey, if we score in the last 3 minutes, we're just going to get off the ice and they're going to flood and we'll continue. Stuff like that we'll talk about. But as far as, reading into the moment, they know it. There's no sense in me talking about it or bringing it up. I think it's just about, if we score it or we don't score it, we got to score the next one, and we got to have more goals than them by the end of 60 minutes. So really, for us, I think that's just kind of more or less what I would say, focused on.
I apologize if this is a bit of an unfair question, but I love hanging around the scouts room or listening to people talk hockey at the rink. And primarily it's because I'm listening, because I don't have anything probably worthwhile to say to interject into the conversation. But one of the things that was brought up was, hey, wait till you see what rosters look like after Christmas. And my assumption was, yeah, you're right, because the trade deadline is right there. But there was some feeling or thoughts that maybe some guys that had went NCAA are going to, maybe that's not for me, and try to come back. Is that a thought on the hockey ops team's mind, as some guys that may be looking to return to junior hockey in Canada?
I think that's, I've heard the same things too. I think there's, it's going to be a lot of things, a lot of speculation in the next, since it's really started. This is the first year into it, and I don't think anyone really knows exactly how it's going to go. I think everyone just speculates what's happening. I guess for me, that's more or less something that Tristan or Dale Durkach, that's kind of his area, what he brings in. My job's pretty much the 25 people he puts in front of me, and then it's my job to work with what we have from there. Those guys are more or less, I would say, from really focused on 25 to 50, adding to our organization depth-wise that way.
So the 25 that are in front of you, what do you need to get out of them before Christmas to set yourselves up for, even though it isn't really the second half, it is kind of the second half of the season after Christmas?
Well, I think us getting healthy is a big thing. I think we talked about earlier, just like us having a little bit of a lighter schedule these last, 16 days. And I think it's just, finish off on a winning note. I think, we easily could have won the Brandon game. We played 47 minutes and then just had 3 minutes of bounces that 2 of them wouldn't even happen, So for us, it's just continue to believe in ourselves. Don't listen to the outside noise. We have to stay focused on what we are in the dressing room. And I think we've taken some really big strides in being a team. Last year we had almost 49 players play for us last year. It was really difficult on the players. It was really difficult on the coaching staff, but we really felt the time for our organization, where we were with our picks and stuff like that. And I think, we really seen a huge step last spring, in the 2 players we acquired. And in Liam and Maddox, obviously, but the rest of our draft class, we have another a third first round kid that doesn't get talked about enough, who pretty much led BC in scoring. We've got 2 second rounders that we were really happy with, defensemen that are going to be 6'2", 6'3", mobile skating kids. So I think that it's not the progress that everyone wants to have, but it's the progress that's been necessary, and it's the progress that the people that are really in hockey and do this for a life, they see that we're going in the right direction. We feel we're going in the right direction. It's just about staying patient right now. We want to play in the playoffs this year. We want to play some meaningful games, down the spring or down the stretch. And I think that we're well on our way to accomplishing some of those goals right now. I know our group is really hungry. Our older guys, they want to play meaningful games and playoff games clearly. So yeah, I think that for me, I feel very confident in our group. Feel very confident in Dale. For us, it's our job. It's to put us in a position where we got to force him to add some players to our team. And I think that right now we just haven't had our full health in our group yet, but we're really close, and we'll see where it goes January 10th.
Sorry, I got to interrupt. If there's one thing that amazes me, is how does Brad Herauf not have a single gray hair? He had 49 guys on the roster. I'd have gone full Timbits with the guys putting their names on the front of their helmets, at one point. I don't know how you did it.
I'll move closer because there's gray hairs.
Brad Herauf, of course, head coach of the Regina Pats, joining us right now. Shifting gears ever so slightly, I know that you're familiar with Connor Bedard's game. So the men's Olympic hockey tournament is supposed to happen in February, assuming they have somewhere to play. There's been a lot of conversation around Connor and Macklin Celebrate and all these guys, who's going to crack the roster. Do you think Connor Bedard has earned that spot?
I think he's really put himself in a really good position. I think that he's proven a lot of people wrong. And I'll tell you one thing about Connor, and this is probably all the great people, when they really want to do something and they're put the pressure on to do it, they arise to the occasion. So to me, I'm not surprised at all. I know the knocks people have been saying about Connor, but to me, it was always about him just coming of age. Really, he's still 20 years old. He should be in the Western Hockey League right now. Yeah. And I think that people, it is crazy. And no other sport, barely ever, when's the last, even NBA is the last 18, I guess Cooper Flag has come in there, but everyone is so well trained nowadays that it's so uncommon for 18, 19-year-old to dominate a professional sport in any capacity. So in hockey, with the salary cap, with that being younger, I think that people lose sight of that. And, like he's still a kid, he's still evolving, and everyone talk about his game, how he needs to get better. Well, yeah, he does. He's 20 years old. And, but look what he's doing right now. He's his third year in his league. So yeah, he was super cool to be around. It was got to see so many things that were just like, you're like, wow. And so to me, to see what he's doing right now, to putting the pressure on Hockey Canada, proving a lot of people wrong about his game, it's he'll do anything to be great, and I'm not surprised at all.
Very well put. I love that. Brad Herauf, head coach of the Regina Pats. You guys are back in action at the Brandt Center. Teddy Bear Toss Night this Saturday, so remember to bring your stuffy.
Yes.
No, appreciate the time, Brad. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Take care. That, of course, is Pat's Chat for Southie Mainline. They've got used Jeeps, 2021 all the way to pre-owned 2024s. Do your wallet a favor and call these guys. Some of the nicest and new used inventory in the province.
Drove by their lot last night. We were out there for hockey practice.
Oh, yeah?
It is packed. Selection is great.
And you remember a couple of years back, it was hard to find any vehicles on lots around here.
True.
So the tides have changed, and you can get one wicked deal with Southie Mainline. So go check them out. Geez, that flew by. We got to go, Dave.
That's it.
We got to go. I know you're not going to be around for a good chunk of this week, so I hope you enjoy your time off.
Thank you. I will definitely try, and thanks for having me again. And by the way, for Roscoe, who thought that I was line dancing when I was in the summer games.
Oh, right.
Played soccer.
Soccer.
I wasn't good, but I was on the team.
This is coming from the guy who says, I'll watch some World Cup.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll watch some World Cup.
Well, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you spending the time.
One last thing, because we never went back to it.
The goaltenders with the highest point count of all time.
We'll go back to the list here.
NHL.
If you can read it.
Okay.
There's number 1, we got Tom Barrasso.
Yeah.
He's at 48 points. Martin Brodeur in second with 47 points. Then Grant Fuhr.
Almost killed him.
Mike Vernon.
Patrick Waugh.
Yeah.
John Van Beesbrook.
Yeah.
Ed Belfour.
Ron Hextall.
Curtis Joseph.
Joe. Okay. Kari Lentonen. That one's a surprise.
Yeah. And then honorable mentions. It's actually the top 15 here. Those were the 5 that couldn't quite crack the top 10.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, I appreciate you reminding me to bring that back up because I forgot. That was 3 hours ago.
I know.
Come on,
What if
Curtis.
there were some people that were listening and they're like, oh my goodness, they never brought it back up again?
I would have let them down. So thank you for saving the day, Curtis. Making sure I say his name properly. Now, thank you guys for taking time, being part of the show. This is the Monday edition of the Sports Cage. Barney will be back tomorrow through the rest of the week. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Again, on behalf of Curtis and myself and voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dave Thomas, to my left, good night from the Century Studio on 12th and Rose. This is the Sports Cage, the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262 for Prairie Land Rentals. Renting heaters, skid steers, and most power tools for all those winter jobs. And your official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer. Prairie Land Rentals, 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. 620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No